Just want to say what is transformation, or we say parivartan, or we say badlav, or change mean to us, which we will be speaking out now. We'll be hearing out from you. On behalf of Cadila Pharmaceutical Family and IRM Group, our chairman, Dr. Rajiv I. Modi, and the young entrepreneur, Mr. Rajiv R. Modi.
Transformational leaders do not start by denying the world around. Instead, they describe the future they would like to create. Hello everyone, I'm Bhavika Chhabria.
And I, Pushpa Kumari.
From the greenest campus of India, I'm Shillong, and we welcome you all to yet another enthralling session organized by IRM Group and Cadila Pharmaceuticals family. We got an opportunity to work under the guidance and wings of Mr. Johnson Matthew. The way he guides and molds all the interns is quite remarkable, and we are such examples in front of you all. We have this opportunity to welcome you all in this exciting session. Today, in this event, we would be engaging with some of the eminent personalities who have transformed the world around them.
It is said, before the start of every event, it is auspicious to remember the Almighty. So, here we are praying for the goodwill of all and to give us strength and hope in these transforming times. May I now take this opportunity to thank our organizer, Mr. Johnson Matthew, CHRO, IRM Group, for making this most awaited event happen. I thank you all for gracing this event today. And without further ado, I would like to start with a few words of honor that makes this morning even more pleasant and enchanting. I will start with someone who is the heart of IRM Group and Cadila Pharma family. A visionary mentor, an exceptional leader, and a passionate individual who, with his strong work ethics and ever-smiling face, is an inspiration. CHRO of IRM Group, Mr. Johnson Matthew. So, sir, this is for you. You are the heart and the soul of IRM Group and Cadila Pharma family, the pillar of strength behind all success, and one true leader to impress.
Our moderator for today is an eminent HR professor whose aura will leave the audience captivated. A seasoned HR professional and the true spirit behind High on Humans, Ms. Kruti Pathak. Having you grace this event is simply our pleasure and our luck. You're the epitome of excellence in human resources, culture, and leadership management. And your work towards collaborating business with people strategy is a key to success for today's organizations.
Our chief guest for the day is a competent individual whose passion and rigor is a true inspiration. Ms. Concetta Spitaleri. Your business acumen and entrepreneurial skills at Rosa Pio are true example of dedication and conviction. Your initiatives towards resilience, gender equality, women empowerment, and corporate social responsibilities, amongst many other, is inspiring. And your aura is nothing but charismatic.
Our guest of honor is a revolutionary leader and an exceptional individual, Mr. Patrick Benson. The pillar of strength at Leaders of Tomorrow, it is your guidance and support that has transformed individuals to lead and make a difference in this ever-challenging world. Your endurance is mesmerizing. Your specialization in leadership, people, and culture, management development, amongst many others, is sure to alter workspace in the current times.
To make this event more spectacular, we would now like to introduce the speakers. Our first speaker is a strategic HR partner whose initiative is transforming the work environment and employee morale is admirable. A strong advocate of creativity and change management. besides the passion for human resources. We have with us Ms. Ruhina Kabir. Ma'am, your work on organizational behavior has left us inspired. The initiatives taken at Tanthit is a small snippet of how organization in the world could be transformed. You are an eminent personality we hope to charm.
Our next speaker is a strong and inspiring woman of today whose radiance would have enchanted this event. However, she could not be here due to personal commitments. We would still like to say a few words for her. Ms. Arshi Ayub Mohammad Zaveri, your dedication and passion has made difficult situations an easy task. You're a true leader of government of UAE without a mask, a seasoned professional whose work speaks for itself, and a woman of rigor and passion that this world expects. Ma'am, we would have been enthralled to have such a personality like you in this event, who has excelled in international markets and strategic alliance and management. We wish you all the good luck for your future endeavors.
Our next speaker is a splendid entrepreneur and an exceptional woman whose personality sets her apart from others. Ms. Hashti Vevalage, the whole and soul of Explorology Sri Lanka. Your perseverance and expertise is inspiring, leaving the mankind engaged and aspiring. Your unique character and business acumen are merely a reflection of a true leader who is sure to transform the world around. Your engagement in innovation, strategic management, and digitization proves that you are a true leader of today and tomorrow. We welcome you.
Our next speaker is an amazing HR professional whose international experience is motivating. Ms. Ivona Bokinchuk, your developments in the HR field is encouraging. With innovation and transformation, your work is exhilarating. Your focus on development and HR business strategies is true to transform Hadid International Services and many more ventures you engage in. Ma'am, we are lucky to have you with us today.
Our next speaker is the lady boss of today, a remarkable CEO with expertise in distinct domains. Ms. Lisa Klenk, a phenomenal leader like you are rare to find. Your charm and dynamism is one of a kind. Currently the CEO of global educational platform Spendless Academy, an award-winning entrepreneur and Singapore's youngest business guru. You are a person of many talents, and we are excited to have you with us.
Our next speaker is an experienced and progressive professional whose personality is unique and remarkable. Ms. Aparna Pasi Ghosh, your proficiency and ambition is much needed in these times. It is with your excellence that the world shines. Your guidance and mentorship at the Third Arm Consultancy is inspiring, and we are sure it would result in transforming successful professionals for varied businesses that this world desires. It's an honor to host you today.
Next in line, we have a seasoned media director, reporter, whose unparalleled dedication landed her Professional Achiever of the Year award in 2018 by Emerge, Ms. Richa Khandelwal Bhatt. Your specialization and excellence in video production, be it corporate films or ad films, is a rare and hard talent to find. The diverse experience you bring in by your engagement with MNCs is inspiring. And we are lucky to have a professional achiever like you with us today. The pillar of strength of Keshava Production Private Limited. Your films are set to transform the world and are mine today. Welcome.
Our next speaker is a proactive lady whose perspective to an agenda makes her special HR professional. Ms. Dipshika Malik, your proactiveness and enthusiastic nature makes you a natural leader full of initiative and energy. Your will to reshape organizational environment is motivating, a success metric at Hero MotoCorp and many other organizations you engage. Your expertise in learning and talent management, diversity and inclusion, and employee engagement is truly inspiring. Welcome, ma'am.
Our next speaker is the Global Goodwill Ambassador and member of Amnesty International, a true marketeer and a PR professional of today, Dr. Rita Dinesh. Your social initiatives are inspiring and would lead the current times to transform. You are an exceptional soul with rigor to reform, an advisor to WorkDart Foundation, and an official volunteer at Human Rights Commission. You are a true professional that we are enthralled to host.
Our next speaker is a proactive lady who single-handedly developed the image consulting market. Ms. Sonu Shukla, your insights in communication development, image consulting, and creating magnetic personality is groundbreaking. The lead behind Soulful Impressions, an experienced and diverse professional. Your leadership to transform is sensational. We are lucky to have an eminent personality like you with us today.
Next on the line, we have a team motivator and one person who builds an engaged and cheerful workforce around her, Ms. Neetu Vaish. Your passion is uncanny and envious for freshers and experienced workforce alike. Your will to shape up organizations toward accelerated growth and the work at Think Talent Services is a remarkable quote. We are lucky to have a turnaround and effectiveness specialist who has led the path to accelerated growth for many organizations. Welcome, ma'am.
We would now like to introduce a few special panelists who are present with us today. Starting with our first panelist, who is a man with perfect thought, innovation, and excellence, Mr. Amit Doshi, COO of Karnavati Pharma Machinery. Next, we have with us a personality who is ever dashing, charming, and an energetic man, Mr. Amit Dubey, SBU Head of CADAGRO Biofertilizer. We would now like to call upon our next panelist, a competent leader and a man with a great vision, Mr. Mohan Kolatkar, President of Karnavati Pharma Machinery. Moving on to our next panelist, who is well known for his proficiency in work and is a great strategist, Mr. Dinesh Chandak, SBU Head of CADAGRO Tissue Culture. And lastly, we have with us who's well known for his work, his achievements as a high-performance leader, Mr. Pavan Gaba, SBU Head of CPL Vetnova.
We extend our heartfelt thanks to all the transformational personalities present here. Taking this event forward, I would now like to pass on the mic to Ms. Kruti Pathak. The session belongs to you now, and thumb rooms will be all yours.
Thank you so much, everybody, and really honored and glad to be part of this wonderful and amazing group of people. To start with, I think transformation itself has redefined, because earlier we used to think transformation is just limiting to a caterpillar that changes into a butterfly, a lump of clay that changes into a beautiful pot. All this has changed a lot now, because today, in today's world, especially after COVID, transformation has a new and a different meaning. It has redefined all of us. Transformation truly means moving beyond your own form. So for us to move ahead, just not in change, but also from within ourselves, we require a lot more. And that's the reason why we have such rich experience and varied background panelists with us today. And we will start our session based on their own experiences, based on transformation at organizations as well as a person themselves. So we will have a good set of stories, engaging incidents, experiences shared by all the panelists. So I welcome you all again. And to start with, we will have our guest of honor for the day, Mr. Patrick Benson, who is a very, very enthusiastic speaker. He's an organizational psychologist, and today he's going to tell us about, he's going to decode the new normal for us. He's also going to tell us about the big shift of talent now, which is not just the aspirations, but also the talent industry. So over to you, Patrick, with your topic on how the workplace is transforming since the pandemic and what to expect in the future with the AI.
Thank you so much. I will try to be as short as I can be to treat this subject. Let me share my screen. So, can I share my screen? Yep, I've been trying. It says the host has to give me the permission to share my screen.
I can go ahead. You can go ahead.
Given.
Patrick, you can go ahead.
It will work? Ah, yes. Thank you so much. All right. Okay. So I prepare a very short presentation. So this is the world that we used to know, right? Sadly, this is the world I used to know. So this is the transformational workplace. This is my specialty, talking about the workplace and how it changed. The workplace affects all of us because we all work. I mean, 4 billion of the 6 billion on this planet actually worked. So what changed since the pandemic? I mean, since March 2020, really, this changed. We closed the planet. That was the Economist first page on March 2020, and he went around the world. We actually didn't close the planet. We actually shut the economy and some of the workplace, but we didn't stop working. And that's very interesting. So the pandemic showed us that it was possible to shut down some of the aspects that we were doing wrong, like the traffic, for example, but the workplace, as I said, carry on working. And as a proof, all those companies, Apple, Amazon, Alibaba, Microsoft, Zoom, Skype, Facebook, to name just a few, made record profit in the last 6 months. So no, we didn't stop working, we just work a different way. Each recovered a lot faster, I mean the Earth, sorry, recovered a lot faster, that was a good thing. And also show us that the last 50 years of unsuccessful negotiation with the G7, the G20, or the United Nations was possible within a month and not 50 years. So that's the good news for the Earth. And the pandemic globally have made us rethink how we're going to work from now on, and what is work, how to redefine work, and how do we want it compared to what we had before. So, as I say, we move from this to this within 1 week. And they told us for 50 years it was not possible. Also to this. Where did the worker go if they're not in the street anymore? Where did he go? And the question just is like, would they ever come back? And that's the question. So where they go? Last week, the United States reported that 50% of workers refused to go back to work as it was. In New York City, it's 92% that don't want to come back to work as it was. They want to work, but not as it was. Some workers lost their job due to unsustainable managing. Like, for example, I'm talking about the aviation company. When you do have a company, I'm not an economist, but when you do a company, you need to have some cash flow. Those company was running their business without cash flow or minimum cash flow. And obviously, when the pandemic or something like that happened, they have to close down because they didn't plan what is taught in course 101 in economy, cash flow. Some workers took the time to retrain or upskill or even change ideas of their work. Some retired and say, okay, I'm done with this thing. I don't think when we're going to recover. So I will not re-engage in the working life ever again. My time is done. Good luck to you guys. And some stress themselves and others around themselves. It has been an increase, about 20 to 25% increase of mental health, suicide, divorce, conjugal violence, and all kind of harm to themselves or to others around themselves. The stress was unprecedented and was hard to deal with. And some went to the gig economy. That's where I'm going to go there. So before we go there, who wants to come back to normal? So let's think about it 5 seconds. Before we rush down to normal, one has to wonder what sort of normal we are talking about. If we're talking about this normal, which is a picture of New Delhi, I pass. And many people, and that's why, and that's why most people don't want to go back to this circus there. So the gig economy, that is something that was lacking. There was a tendency that was there, but we, as I say, we never tried. Like we never tried to close Earth before. Well, we never tried that because it was said it was impossible. And now it's just been proven that is possible. So what we're witnessing here, and it's propelled by the millennia, it's a dream. It's a combination of what we used to dream, an a la carte education, an a la carte way of working, while working in a very exotic location like I am now behind me, and also traveling around the world and discovering and exploring your personal development. That's very important. We used to work just to get money, and now we're not working for that. Of course, we want the money, but also we want more than just that. We want to explore who we are and how we can contribute. If you know yourself better, then you can contribute better. If you only work for a company, then you only know what that company asks you to do. You don't know what you could be able to do if you were by yourself. A job that we're dreaming, and we want a job that could be designed around our personal life, mood, and family. So we now are the center of the gig economy, no longer the workplace. This is beyond working from home, because home could be anywhere. And finally, if we're doing this, we have to also abandon the very old model of education and work system that was based on Taylorism, where everything was based around the workplace or a region. The automotive industry, they all went to to the north part of the United States, for example, for United States, the Silicon Valley gather all the mind, and people used to move there. And now we're shifting the society to workplace will have to follow us. So we used to move to a city, making the traffic jam I just showing, and now we're going to spread around the planet. It's be better for us and also better for the economy and the company, because they will have people working 24/7 from different places. They will have different languages, they will have different assets and different culture. They're actually going to broaden their what they call company culture. It used to be company culture. I remember some people would be a company culture just giving a sandwich. A sandwich is not company culture, it's to sandwich. Company culture is really when you blend all this culture together, and I think now it's possible to do. So would you rather be or work right now? Right now, would you rather be, and still exists, in one of those kiosks, I don't know what to call it, there's a call center, again in India, or you rather be this guy or that woman like here at the beach, and obviously, if the work is the same and if efficiency is the same, then most people would choose the picture on the right. Finally, I will touch a little bit of what's coming. And what's coming is AI. And I say in an office near you, coming soon. Definitely in an office near you or in a workplace near you. So both, for example, Amazon and Alibaba have announced that the coming AI is to be expected within the next 3 to 5 years. I had a chance to meet the head of Amazon developing AI about 4 years ago. And she told me that they were about 4 to 5 years away to implement the first kind of AI, not the kind of AI we have you on a smartphone, not Siri for those who have an iPhone or something similar. That's AI too, but I'm talking about the AI from a picture. Now, it's been estimated that about 1 billion jobs worldwide will be replaced, like doctors or lawyers, accountants, coders, drivers, pilots, and many others. Obviously, while those will be replaced, so just to give an idea, we 6 billion, 4 billion are working in this planet. That means 25% will be replaced in 4 years, according to them. However, some new job will be created, so that's to be expected. And the question is, that we don't know yet, how we will deal with the human with those new species. Will we treat them as colleagues or as an enemy. We see that, what is for certain, and I agree with Mr. Ma from Alibaba, that we cannot compete with a machine. So the best thing we can do is to be human. So unless you want to, and it's possible now, or it's going to be possible, to become half machine, half human, and have an insert of your brain. And I know Mr. Elon Musk and his people, like, they're doing this right now, and they're testing on people right now to have an implant they call superhuman, where you could upload your brain with Google, basically. You'll be a walking Google. Of course, not everyone, I don't want to do that personally. I'd rather be ignorant than be a walking Google. And I'd rather go around the world and learn what I don't know. But unless you want to do that, the best way we can do is to relearn to be human. That means kind, compassionate, and creative. And as a psychologist, I can tell you the creativity is something not only AI won't be able to compete with for quite some time, but creativity suppresses stress in our brain by reducing the cortisol. So this is the best thing we have. If you stress, if you're overwhelmed by what's happening, we have something unique in ourselves called creativity that's better than any medicine, and that will suppress the cortisol. That will do a much better job, and you'll be more creative. By being creative, you'll be open-minded to others and become more compassionate. And also, by traveling around the world, we make you realize how connected we all are to ourselves, to human being, and also to the environment. So this is my wish. Go around the world, work from the beach or for the mountain or wherever you go, learn about yourself, and learn about the connection that's always been there that we forgot for a while, and let the machine do what they will do best, and let us do what we do best, be human. That's it for me.
Great, thank you so much, Patrick. I think all we could do is be human, and technology is as good as we know how to use it. So the best use of technology is the way we control it rather than that controls us and our lives. I think you really nailed that powerful message that yes, everything is changing, but we do make a difference by transforming ourselves to adjust to the new changes around us. Thank you so much, Patrick, for your word, and we would move on to our next speaker. There is a slight change because Lisa has a meeting to attend, so we will have her go first. So Lisa is the founder of Splendus Group Singapore, and she's the CEO, has won a lot of awards, and she's going to talk to us the other spectrum from where Patrick said about the whole economy. Lisa is going to talk about how we could transform our personalities for better opportunities. Over to you, Lisa.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Perfect, thank you so much. Sorry guys, I gotta go. But I wanted to talk a little bit about personality and how we can have the power to attract the opportunities and the people we want to attract. Now, this comes as a backstory. So before I share you the 3 skills that I think anyone can start working on right now or way before they enter the working world. And it really will change the direction in terms of how many opportunities can come your way. So a lot of people think that they don't get opportunities because they're not smart enough, or because they're in the wrong circle, or because they're born in a different country. But all of that can actually take a change if we improve from within, which is from ourselves, our personality, and how we are perceived in the eyes of everybody else that we come in contact with. So this comes as a backstory when I first met my investor. So we run a global company right now, and the first investment that I raised was at one shot about $500,000 from a family office. And the first time I took that funds, okay, and I asked him, you're giving it to me, $500,000. What makes you think that I will be successful? So I asked my investor back this question. Okay? And I was a mom. I was a stay-at-home mom for 7 years, and I had 3 kids. And I'd start making small business, brick and mortar, but never raising $500,000 at once. And because of this $500,000 is why we turn global right now, and we operate in 10 countries, and we have more than 60 people working for us. So at that time, when I took the money, I asked him, what makes you think I'm going to be successful? This 500,000, I'm glad that you trust me, but what makes you think I will make it? And he told me that people can be successful by 3 things. Okay, number 1 is, as long as this is about your personality. So number 1, be the voice people want to hear. So every time when you have a conversation with someone, understands people's perspective, people's predicament, and say words that make them feel better. For every conversation, okay, that people walk away feeling good about themselves is exactly why people want to stick around with you. So be the voice that people want to hear. And secondly is be the face people want to see. That means it's not about dressing up or how you look, but if you are present in a moment to spend that time with somebody else and they're giving up their time for you as well, be there, be present in that moment. Let them know that you really want to be there, you want to get this done, you want to do something with them and not have your mind elsewhere. So as long as you are present, okay, every time people want to see you, most likely opportunities will be given to you, especially people can then sense your passion in what you want to sell or promote. And lastly, he said, be the brain people want to pick. So if you're always upgrading your skill and people come to you for advice and you selflessly give them every information you know about that certain topic. Now, you don't have to be an expert. If somebody talks to me about cryptocurrency, it's not a field that I'm an expert in. But if somebody asks for my opinion or my knowledge, as far as I know, I will tell them everything. And because I'm selfless in that sense, and I become the brain people always want to pick, it's exactly why people always come back to me, give me opportunities, and build a stronger relationship with me. So these three things, he says, as long as you keep up with this personality, where you're always the voice people want to hear, you're the face people want to see, and you're basically the brain that people want to pick, just that every other person that you met along the way will try their best to open opportunities, even though that opportunity you wanted wasn't there before. People will go beyond, out of their way, to make sure that they can open a door of opportunity for you. And these three things are really, really simple things that all of us can work with. So the next time when we have a conversation with someone, don't think about how much we can get out of that conversation, but how good can we make this person feel by talking to us. If somebody asks us for advice, we don't tell them, oh, I got no time for this, or, I don't know much, please don't ask me. But instead, we tell them everything we know, even as little as we already know, or a lot. And from there, people appreciate that we take time to think about them and give them advice based on what we know, based on our knowledge and experience. So basically, that's just my advice on three things. And we can start doing today. University students among their peers, among their classmates, among their project members, in school, among colleagues as well, or as well as in business. So every time somebody comes up to you and say, hey, do you know how to do this? And you, instead of telling them, well, Google it, okay? Instead of that, you know how it's done. How about you spend that 5 minutes and say, hey, let me show you things I know about this. I hope it helps you. And just because of that, you win the hearts of people. And that's exactly how you can then attract opportunities, even when you're not really asking for it. And if you practice that way of behavior and communication, it will become effortless. And because of his advice, I don't know who I will find in my business, but every time I come across someone, I don't know what they can offer me. But I make sure that I am at least one of these things, somebody they want to see, a voice they want to hear, or a brain they want to pick. And as long as I fit that purpose in their life as one of these verticals or all three, then I will always be valuable to the other person. And that person will want to make sure that I succeed no matter what. So that's my advice and my talk today.
Thank you, Mara. This was a great one.
Thank you so much.
Amazing, because I think off and on nowadays we are into multi-communication. Having a real conversation is missing in all the relationships that we have. So I think the big start would be having those conversations where you give in yourself and be present. Being present in the moment, being present in one conversation at a time. I think it's a big takeaway for all of us in the group. Thank you, Lisa.
Anyone can do it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great. So moving on to the chief guest of the day is a very, very inspiring speaker, Concetta Spitaleri. Welcome, Concetta. Concetta is an Italian entrepreneur living in the heart of Europe, Brussels. And from Brussels, the beauty and everything matches so well. Welcome, Concetta. She's been such a wonderful person to speak with since last few days that we're connected. She embodies transformation as she moved from a corporate career to entrepreneurship. And that's the journey that she would share with us and the learnings. And now with Rosapiu, her own baby, how she transformed the business in response to the COVID and the situation of economy. With this think tank, she created the new NPO Willow Tank Thrive, and I leave the floor to Conchetta to talk to us about her learnings and share her experiences. The word for you, Conchetta. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Let me just thank you, all of you. I mean, you said what I wanted to say. It has been a pleasure for me really to share already the organization with you. I just felt being part of your family. I mean, thank you very much. Thank you to you, Ruti, to Aline, and of course to Mr. Johnson Matthew for the opportunity given. You have called me the chief guest today, but I am the honored person to be here to share with all of you, this fantastic panelists, what I've heard already, what is there to hear. So I will really share with you my life experience. Transformation has been my whole life and still is. So I really hope that that what I'm going to share with you is going to be kind of, again, a lesson or something that you can get inspired from. And of course, I remain available because we cannot have all time to tell about our lives. For any one of you who is listening to us would like to have a little bit more of information. So just to tell you a little bit about my life, well, I've spent more than 15 years at executive level in big multinationals, and I really had very important functions, so a high level of responsibilities, mainly as executive advisor to chief executive and board members, and created functions like sponsoring PR and events, but the most important was corporate social responsibility. Today is part of our today life, but you can imagine that 9-10 years ago was more a fashion. So creating a function in a company of 17,000 people and trying to succeed in putting the strategy at board level, I can tell you, was already a transformation within the company, and was really not an easy one. So definitely one of my greatest achievements. My first transformation in life, I can say, really occurred when I moved from this 15 years of VP functions in large companies to being an entrepreneur. It was really a very, very big change, maybe an easy stretch after all these years to create your own company, but definitely not the easiest one, and that this proves to be today. Because what you need to imagine, I hope that Patrick will agree with me, is that you don't change a job when you go from being, you know, a VP in large corporations to become an entrepreneur. It's a complete mindset that changes. You need really to think that, I mean, your wage at the beginning or at the end of the month is not coming anymore. Vacations you cannot plan. You need to really to think that vacations are over, that you're not going to be able to pay yourself, that when you make an investment, you really hope that this is going to work. You put everything in place for this to work, but sometimes, and not because you're incompetent, can also turn out to be not a good one. So what is needed constantly, permanently, is really the theme of the day. The transformation is the way to be able to adapt yourself, to review your strategy, to make it flexible, and to start and to reboot again. Because it's your own resources that you put at stake. If you make a mistake, your boss in a company can protect you or the company, but when it's your own strategy in your own company, well, you can either lose or win. It's very, very easy. So with COVID, of course, well, for me, it was more an opportunity than a problem. I also had to review my business for the company I created. So I created Rosa Piu when I quit the VP functions, was 7-8 years ago. Just in a word, the company I created specializes in long-lasting flora art. It's a fantastic business. It's organic plants and flowers, and then it really, really helps finding the balance. This is a constant contact with the nature. So basically, I serve B2B luxury brands all around the world. And that was pretty easy before COVID happened, to really have this constant contact, really physical contact also with my customer, to create tailor-made arrangements and really just satisfy the customer. And never a decorations or a work was the same one for other customers. You can imagine it with COVID, hotels were of course closed, no events anymore, restaurants not even talk about this. So what I had, well, it's done. it's really finished. So it was not just a temporary. I said, what do I have to do? I really have again to transform here to be able to survive, because I have a family, because you need to, of course, to continue. And it was really kind of a shock. But again, from a shock, there is always a way to rebirth. So I had to move on to the digitalization, to online, which, by the way, I think it's for many of us is the way forward. So I started to develop, of course, another offer which attract much more the B2C customers. And so I started from there again. And this was for me, again, an opportunity. Resources were needed. I started to find partners, not to avoid spending, again, money, which, of course, as you have all said, with COVID was not an easy resources to find. So there was a trigger, as Patrick said before, to my creativity. I mean, you need to find it. You need to be flexible. You cannot just say, well, we have shut down, and then we need to accept and be there, because you need to fill your fridge, you need to feed your family, and you need to keep on moving. And you need to move your brain and say, okay, there are possibilities. They are there with people like us who have had these functions and this set of learnings in life. There must be a way forward. I think that apart from this, so today, of course, we are not only surviving, but continuing, and was maybe another door which opened, which was a real opportunity for my business. The most important transformation I've gone through is definitely a personal one. When lockdown forced us to stop our activity, the first thing I thought is, of course, to save my business. But then I said, with all the set of competencies and experiences that life has given me, or has forced me to gain, what can I do? I mean, I really had to do something for the community. And so I started to share a little bit my knowledge, my experiences with others. So I started to take really time to think, just as my fellow said before, what is it really important for me? What is really paramount? And so I created a kind of initiative, which is for me, which is this NPO, and Ruti mentioned before, which aims at gathering entrepreneurs from all around the world, I mean, really with different backgrounds. We all move towards very concrete subjects. And of course, we promote diversity, and we work from an angle which is resilience, which is something very important for me. I think if you're not resilient, you will have to become resilient, because this is a new way of life and we are not done with it. So we better get used to. The NPO is called Willow Thrive, and it's a nice story because willow, I don't know if you know, is of course a tree. It's my constant contact with nature, which is very, very important for me. And it's the only tree that when there is really, you know, bad weather, so really storms, it never breaks, it adapts, because you know it's more flexible, so it really fits the situation and it survives. So for me, it was really the example of what we need to be and we need to become to resist in the world we are really living. And I'm very happy, and thank you for having mentioned her beforehand, is that Arshi Ayub Mohammed Zaveri is a co-founder of this initiative. So she really made me honorable and very, very happy lady, and with many other people. So we will tell you a little bit more when all this is going to go public. Finally, for me, also something that I wanted to share with you is that to allow transformation to occur at its best is to give or to restore hope for those people who are less lucky than us, because even if it's difficult, we still need to consider ourselves really lucky, and they need it for a future to be possible, because there are, of course, people who will need it. They just, you know, look at places or countries where peace is constantly disrupted. So it's, for me at least today, it's a must with all our knowledge, is to share it, to really give some hope, and then just kind of a key lesson for people who can say, well, if she made it or if they made it, I can also make it, and give hope. That's what transformation is for me. So I remain available if you have any questions about any of the stories I told. Of course, it's my pleasure to be there for you. That's mainly for you. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Conchetta. I think it's really required for all of us to respond to the transformation and transform ourselves through innovation as well as trying to do something new and be resilient. So thanks a lot, Conchetta, for this message. It's truly inspiring. All your stories are inspiring. I think after all of us are done, we will have a Q&A and we can know more about your story. Moving on to the next speaker is a renowned social reformer, CSR and PR advisor of Oakheart Group, Dr. Rita. Dr. Rita, are you there?
Yeah, very much.
Okay, great. So Dr. Rita is going to talk to us about very, very important topic, which is the building blocks of customer experience transformation. Something where you need to understand the customer experience and expectations and align your aspirations to it. So that's what we're going to know from Dr. Rita. Over to you, Dr. Rita.
Yeah, thank you very much. First, I would like to thank each and every one of you for giving me this opportunity. And I'm really happy to see all the faces among this COVID also. We all are being like, in our best self. So I'm so happy about it. That itself is a transformation that I can see. So thanks a lot. So I have, I'll start with a small question. Who led transformation of your company? Is it CEO, CTO, or COVID-19? My question is to Matthew sir or Johnson sir or anyone, whoever wants to, whoever is willing to be unmuted. Who is leading transformation as far as your company is concerned?
Should
Is
be
it CEO, CTO, or COVID-19?
I think it should be COVID-19 because COVID-19 made us to transform ourselves. See, always I say, what does COVID means? Clean our values in depth. Always I say COVID is called clean our values in depth. So COVID has made us to clean our values. We are newborn again and we are transformed. So that's it.
So thank you, sir. There goes the answer very well. So I'm sorry to tell you, ladies, it is not our chance now to be, in the limelight of CEO, CTO, and other people. It is COVID-19 because the crisis rapidly reshapes transformation agendas. COVID-19 has made each one of us think about, the transformation that is required. So the starting point of transformation is customer experience. See, each one of us will agree unless there is no customer and, we cannot speak about business. So the main person, and I'm not saying my topic is the best, but still I have to prove it. So I'm saying that customer transformation that I'm going to talk about, the point is as places emphasis on, digital transformation. Just now, Rasipu also said that, digital transformation in turn create happy customers and which solves a lot of our inherent inefficiencies. See, the minute your customer is happy, see, for example, I'm able to make any kind of problem that is happening within a company. And I say that, oh, sir, I'm really sorry. This is because of, if you are able to make the customer happy, that solves the inherent inefficiency of a company. So customer experience transformation is one of the main aspects. Each one of the companies have to look at it during this COVID-19. So I would like to give you one or two examples where the companies have adopted. Tech Labs, we all are aware of. How did they leverage this? Customer experience transformation is they use technology to enhance customer experience through channel partners. So this is one example which all of us can adopt as, business leaders, business women, how Tech Lab has taken, customer experiences through this way. And also if you take into consideration, we all know very well about Asian Paints, wherein, we must have seen the ads whenever we switch on our TVs with Asian Paints, even though they connected, my husband connected with the kind of foundation that I use. So, whenever we speak about, Asian Paints, it's always they leveraged each of their salesmen with virtual reality for their sales representatives. So you can see in customer experience transformation, one using, you know, the experience of customer, reducing the customer inefficiencies, whereas one using, you know, the virtual reality. Just now, you know, Patrick spoke about machine learning and AI. So they leveraged on that. And, you know, Dr. Lab, Path Labs, we all are aware of the company, wanted to do away with waiting time for reports. So what did they do to, you know, have their customer experience transformation to be done? They helped achieve it by using machine learning to predict estimated time of reports. So these three examples, when we take, you can clearly see that all these companies have taken, you know, have their trouble transforming, you know, obviously every organizations, like if you take Tech Lab, if you take Dr. Path Labs or any other company, Asian Paints or IRM Group or anyone for that matter, every company has a trouble transforming organization to capture all the advantages of excellent customer experience. Every one of the companies have had this problem. And, you know, the approaches vary based on, you know, maturity of business, then, you know, the customer opportunity. So these are the two laying factors on which, you know, like various organizations are able to build on their customer experience. So how can you do that? As far as, you know, the customer experience transformation is concerned, you will be thinking like how, as, you know, an entrepreneur, how as an education group, or how as a hospital, or how being a business group, I am able to bring in this customer experience transformation is, you know, there are three building blocks when we speak about customer experience transformation. First is allowing, being aligning on a strong aspiration within your customer, implementing a disciplined process for transformation, and building up enablers to make it all work. So these are the three blocks on which you can build up your customer experience. So how can we achieve this? See, I told you these are the blocks. So you would obviously be, your next question will be, whenever we tell a story, you know, the next one will be, how did he do that? How did the character in the story do that? And nowadays, you know, like Twitter, everywhere we could see that, you know, even the media creating, you know, all the kind of stories, script writing, everything. So the same script writing, you know, will be applicable to my presentation also. I'm very sure about it. So you will be asking me, how are you going to achieve it? So you're going to achieve it because you require leadership, focus, investment, and commitment. Unless, you know, the coordination of these things are not possible, customer experience transformation will not be possible. Now, like I have to say, since we are from India, you know, we have always have, you know, a holistic approach towards customer experience transformation, which can be adopted by anyone, anywhere in the world, whether you are in Singapore, whether you are in Sri Lanka, whether you are from US. And this is the kind of, you know, holistic approach as far as customer experience is confirmed. First one is identify core customer journey and transform by redesigning and dignifying them. What are the core journeys of your customers? And identify that and, you know, redefine, redesign, and dignify them. Then ensure a shared vision of top management and buy in customer-centric strategy. Whatever you do. Just now she spoke about, you know, like give your time when you're talking to somebody. In the same manner, give, you know, customer-centric strategy. Last but not the least, enable transformation by having a permanent loop of feedback from your customers as well as from your employees. So this is something, you know, which will make up your customer experience transformation and ensure that your customers stay back and they would be with you always. So with this clear vision and customer-centric, ambitious, you know, articulation goals, you would obviously be asked, see, for example, the minute I tell Johnson sir that, you know, I have always got 100 out of 100 in all my exams, including my PhD, I was, you know, world number 1. Is he going to believe it? No. He would obviously be telling me, you know, like, Rita, I would like to see your scorecard. So in the similar manner, when I'm going to speak about customer experience management, every one of you are going to ask me, what is the measurement system for it? How am I going to measure the customer experience? Yes, I've got an answer for that also. You link your customer measurement experience system with business impact to all the elements that drive customer satisfaction improvements. So derive your customer experience measurements with your customer satisfaction improvement measurements. So compare these two in your organization. You can find your scorecard. It is very easy. You can implement in any organization. And last, the customer experience transformation. What is the benefit of it? Why should I have to go for it? It helps in your decision making, and it helps give you, a better coordination. So you can eliminate the kind of, problems that could be cropped up because of a pandemic like COVID, or because of any complexities that is happening in our daily life. So I would like to say that customer is always important. So customer experience transformation is something which is important for each one of us. And if you have, heard me today, I would like to summarize on what are the points that I said. I spoke about what is customer experience transformation. And without customer experience transformation, there are 3 building blocks to customer experience transformation. And what is the approach towards that? I have given a holistic approach towards that. And how can you measure that? That was my 4th point. And last was, what was the benefit out of it? So I'm sure each one of you would now say, and will be the logo as the symptoms will be like, customer is the king. So I'm sure that will be the kind of, emotion I can see from everybody's face. So thank you very much for the audience. I'm so happy, and thank you for your kind hearing. Thank you very much.
Amazing, Dr. Rita. I think
Thank you.
We heard you really well. I think we all know how to up our game if we are customer centric and we have the customer transformation in our minds. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
For sharing all the details and in such a methodological manner. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now we have the next lead panelist moving forward. And before we move forward, just want to pause here and explain that we will go panel by panel, and at the end we would leave the floor for questions. So I would ask the leadership team at IRM and the Cadila group to keep ready their questions for the panelists, because I already have. So if nobody is asking, I'm going to bombard with a lot of questions. All right, so moving on to HR professional, a turnaround and effectiveness specialist, Neetu Vesh, who believes in making people realize their true potential and helping them reach their true potential. Neetu and I had this interesting conversation about the trust taxes, and she's going to talk about it very soon in terms of the lesser you have, the more you pay, which made me really think that, yeah, that is the true trust tax that we pay. And the topic for the day for Neetu is organizational transformation by building a culture of trust. Over to you, Neetu.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks a lot for giving me this opportunity to share an experience, which is, I think, quite a enlightening one for me also. So today I'll be sharing the transformation journey of an organization which was just 2 years old at that time. It was much like a startup, though it had it was the Indian unit and its parent was a multinational group. So there were no funding related challenges. But it was a small team, and it was very lucky to be able to get very good business growth in a very small span of time. So within 1.5 years, they grew so much that they had to, in fact, employ around 500 employees. So with this, within a span of 1 year, they grew from, say, around 20-30 people to 500. So they were all pushed into chaos. And earlier, like, they were a jovial and close-knit group. And now they were facing major challenges, which are normal with a large size organization. Things were not budging. People were overloaded with work. There was a lot of duplication of work happening. Project budgets were not getting approved on time. There were huge vendors. Their payments were getting delayed. There were customer complaints, which were so embarrassing. The MD was getting escalation about the customer complaints, and they were all struggling to keep up with the promises that they had made to their clients. The entire office was full of blame game and lacking accountability. Even there were interdepartmental disputes happening. Everybody was overwhelmed, and even the employees were all very demotivated. So that was the time when the organization then decided to look at how to find solutions. And then an array of focus group discussions took place where the picture came out, this painful picture came out. And then it was decided that let's align the people first and then make sure that the rest of the things will fall in place. So the vision, mission, and values of the organization were chalked out. And the most important value that was chosen was generating currency of trust. So based on this pillar, the entire transformation journey happened. So first step was to basically measure the individual trust index of each leader and the people managers. So around 40 people were selected for this intervention, and they were assisted in getting a confidential 360-degree feedback using our online platform, where they, based on the feedback, they were able to identify what their strengths are and what are the areas of improvement. And then they were given expert assistance by trainers who helped them understand the basics of how to use trust-based leadership style. And then they were also given various tools and guidance and aids on how to align their own teams to start working in the new way of working that they had learned, and also to teach them how to build trust-based relationship. So simultaneously, in order to provide all-round support to the culture transformation happening at that time in the organization, the HR and admin team was also put through an in-house workshop on the same area. So very soon the roots of change started showing up, especially the younger leaders. They very enthusiastically took up making modifications to reduce trust taxes. So in fact, in order to further drive down the message about the trust taxes, they enacted role plays to depict where the trust taxes take place in our real working life in the organization. So what are trust taxes? Basically, trust taxes are the costs that we pay in terms of additional time or money that we spend in processes which are required just because there is lack of trust, there is lack of confidence, there is lack of transparency. We are trying to be more defensive and we don't believe in others. So after working out the solutions for these trust taxes, the changes in the behavior started showing up at work. People now started adopting positive behaviors like having more transparency, not talking about others behind their back, not having any double talk, not over exaggerating, not committing unnecessarily or making over commitments, and taking full accountability of the work that they are supposed to deliver, having honest communication, and fulfilling own and company's commitment. So these behavior changes brought in such a major impact that all of a sudden the MD started noticing that all interdepartmental complaints, they had vanished almost. There used to be earlier a monthly cross-functional meeting where such issues had to be sorted out, and these issues started vanishing from the agenda. Nobody wanted to wait for an entire month to enlist the issue and then take the help of the MD's intervention to get solution. People were on real-time basis sorting out issues among themselves, only the leaders, the managers. Whenever the issues cropped up, they would sit across and discuss and find solutions. Also, middle-level managers, they were given empowerment to take decisions, actions for most of the day-to-day work and handle approvals to a certain impact level. So this way, things started moving much more smoothly. The lead time for vendor payments reduced. The CRM team reported quicker turnaround time to handling of customer complaints. And there were much warmer customer feedback that the company started receiving. So with all these changes, it actually had transformed the organization, and it was now ready to take up more challenges and provide additional value-added services to the clients. But there was a word of caution. Not everything was hunky-dory during this journey. In fact, one of our short-tempered managers in the initial early stages only resigned because he was feeling very hurt that the MD distrusted him. So there was an all-around awareness about trust and everything, and without knowing much into how to handle such trust issues, he resigned. So the lesson was for us that you do require a certain level of maturity, rigor, and patience to be able to build a trust fulfilled environment. So that's a word of caution, which was a learning for all of us. So I think was the journey in short. And in case anybody wants to know more about it, I'm there in the QA session. I could provide more additional information. Thank you.
Great, Neetu. I think we need not be great in numbers, but if we know how to invest in trust, we may save a lot of taxes, isn't it? All right. So moving to the next speaker, we have Ivona. Miss Ivona, are you there? Great. So Ivona is a very people-centric HR leader. An interesting journey about Ivona that I learned is she moved from marketing to admin and then HR. And that's the reason, why I know this topic chosen by you is co-creating value, right, through managing internal and external stakeholders. So I think the topic is very apt because you have played different roles in different departments, and none other better than you can explain this to us. Over to you, Ivona.
Thank you so much, Kruti. I would like to first of all say hello to everyone, and it's honor to be one of panelists sharing the stage, I would call it. So basically, I chose this topic because it's very close to my heart, I would say, because I would like to touch two topics of transformation. We all know that there are many transformations that are currently happening, whether they are digital transformation or others. The first one is the personal transformation that, as you mentioned, Kruti, that I have gone through. I started career working for non-profit organization in my country, which is Poland. And after a year, I decided that I want a little bit more. So I moved to different countries. And it was, when you took, when we look at transformation, it is very important to understand that transformation doesn't happen within a day. And it is something that we have to step out of our comfort zone. And it was something for me very, let's say, difficult. I don't like not being in my zone, especially the comfort one. So basically, I started my career from a non-profit organization. I carried on with the non-profit organization in UK when I moved there. But it was more from the legal perspective rather than administrative. And then I decided that I actually want something more, and I moved to Dubai. And I joined this medical company as a customer relation manager at first, and then I moved to marketing. So it's very jumpy road that I took to find myself and to transport personally, and from my career, from the career side. I've learned a lot of different things from different people. I have few mentors that I would never forget, and they actually showed me what is the value in co-creating the relationship. And what I'm saying, what I mean by that, we don't create value. The value is co-created. We learn from others, and the others learn from us. It is transferable, I would say, learning that we go through our life. And as we talk about our co-creating values, we have to look at our internal and external stakeholders. So for the personal transformation, who are they? For the internal would be our parents, our sister, brother, our partners, and so on. But our external would be people that supporting our development, like our teachers, our managers, and people that we interact on day-to-day, during the day-to-day. So our personal transformation happens every day, and I think we grow within, and we will not stop. So it is a very interesting topic, and it's so wide that I could talk probably for hours about it. But just to cut short, co-creating, what does it mean for you? What does it mean for others or our audience? For me personally, it's not only rethinking, because in general term, co-creating is rethinking, and that's when we look from the business perspective. But co-creating, it's, I think, re-establishing, rebuilding, re-innovating our already, I would say, innovative minds. We all have one. We just have to dig really deep and find it. So when we choose our career and we decide one day, actually, this is not what I want to do. I want to move from corporate to entrepreneurship. It is an innovation or it is a soft innovation, as I call it. So when we co-create our value between our stakeholders, it is very important to look at the interactive engagement, because without communication, without telling people what you actually want to do and listening to their perspective, you won't be able to reach where you want to be, or it would be a very bumpy road to reach where you want to reach. So from the business perspective, I've seen quite few, let's say, companies where they would want to have go through transformation, but they lack the understanding that the transformation happens from the top first. So the top management has to agree that this is what they want to do, because when the transformations start happening and when you start co-creating the value between your external and internal stakeholders, and we all know who are our internal stakeholders, which would be our shareholders, our owner, our employees, and our external would be our clients, our suppliers, even the government. So when we look at that from the wider perspective and we start asking question whether it is reasonable to start something that may not work. But before that, every transformation, any change we want to make, we have to ask ourselves why. Why do we need? What it will bring to us? Where do we want to end, or whether we want to end, whether we want to develop further. So this is very interesting and important part of the co-creating the values, because it comes when you build the business transformation from scratch and you're starting that road with your employees, with your clients, with your suppliers, and so on and so forth. You are asking them what do they like by looking on the trends of the buyers. So I will give an example. When there is a manufacturing company and there is a shortage of, let's say, one item that builds, let's say, an electric board, and you have to look. And you're going through the transformation, you have to look where the shortage comes. And a lot of the time, the top-down starting happening from the management, because they don't see the bigger picture when it comes to the transformation. They want to decide now how to proceed with the issue, and they want to decide it on their own without taking the full picture from and opinions from others. This also blocks a future development, like if such event happens, how do we avoid it in future? How do we avoid that? And by not allowing the situation to unfold itself, while we doing or going through the business transformation, or we want to change the culture, because that's when it happens usually. The companies, they want to be more open and be more transparent. Transparency is not very easy task for any company and anyone, actually, even in personal life. It's because it takes a lot courage to say who you are or what we want from others or what we expect. And it is a very, I would say, another component, a key component in co-creating the value. So I hope I didn't lose anyone there, but the most important part of any transformation, whether it's in a business or in a personal, it's the communication. Is the understanding your environment and yourself. But the first thing, the most important thing for me, it's understanding what I want, what I want to achieve, and why I want to achieve it. What will bring as a happiness, as a joy, as a whichever element of the happiness it would close, or I would say like it's closing one dot of the happiness element in our life. So it is something, it's such a wide subject, because co-creating value and working with people that are from different culture, different environments, it's really challenging, but it's exciting if you're if you look at it from positive perspective. So for the external, for example, stakeholders, they are directly influenced by the organization processes. So if, for example, we have a shortage in our manufacturing line, then there is a shortage on the shelves, and then there are unhappy customers. So, and then I would probably go with the customer satisfaction. I agree totally. Our customers are the kings, but the most important part is that we find ourselves also the valuable element in co-creating that relationship between us and our customers or other stakeholders. So from the personal perspective also, I would say I have grown a lot. And having sitting right now and speaking to you all, it is actually for me stepping out of my comfort zone, because I prefer the blank page, and writing my research rather than speaking about it. So it is important to look at the small things every day that we do, and how we co-create our relationship with others. And it is important to, as many of our panelists already mentioned, listening to others. That's one of the main things in our transformations, because we do have to understand others before we understand ourselves, and then again we have to understand ourselves first before we step into changing something in our life. So I hope I didn't lose anyone there. Thank you so much for listening, and I will.
Thanks a lot, Ivona, for opening up and being so candid about what you think related to transformation. And I think all of us would agree that transformation is not one way or not impacted by one person. It has multi-dimensions, and that's why co-creating the value is really important aspect of transformation. Thanks, Ivona. And moving on to our next guest speaker is Sonu Shukla. So Sonu's, in simple terms, Sonu makes people be their best in terms of their behavior, in terms of their social skills, and through personal branding and confidence building. So that's Sonu's expertise. And today she's going to talk to us about change in belief system. which is very important step towards transformation. Over to you, Sue.
Hello everyone, just a good afternoon. It's already 12 o'clock, and since past 1 hour I have been listening to all the eminent speakers here. So be it our guest of honor, be it our panelists from all over across the world. And I must say that the kind of enthusiasm, the kind of experience, the kind of talk you have been doing on transformation is actually transforming me also. And I'm making my quick notes, getting in knowledge from each one of you. So thank you, IRM. Thank you, Johnson. It has been really, really wonderful to be on this platform. My topic talks about a very simple thing, but very complicated: belief systems. Now, you are talking about transformation, and one thing that I want to just check, am I audible to each one of you? Please, Kritika, if you just continue. Fine. Thank you so much. Now, transformation, of course, does not happen in a day, but transformation happens with that belief system in you, which says that, yes, I can transform and I can make a change in this world. So when Kruti said that transformation is not only limited to that butterfly which comes out of a cocoon, or for that potter who makes that earthen pot hard enough, it's because they have a belief in them. And until and unless you have a belief system within you that yes, you can, you can't, and you can never do it. Okay, so talking of belief systems, people think belief is something which is like built in a day. No, I disagree. What if I tell to you that belief system that you all have, all you panelists will agree with me, that belief systems is not built in a day, but then your belief system that you are currently living with was built way long ago when you were as a kid. So yes, our belief systems get built within us when we are as a kid and we grow with it. Our subconscious mind grows with it. It protects us from all the things that we do. Our conscious mind only thinks of the logical reasoning, the logics that we give. But our subconscious protects it, saying that, no, is this logic right or is this logic wrong? Because we have grown with it and we are always protected by our belief system. Pandemic came and it gave us a huge 360-degree change, be it in our way of living, be it in our way of working, be it in our way of utilizing technology, or be it in the way we believed that we can survive. I mean, none of us would have thought that we would be meeting on such a Zoom call and connecting to the entire world at one go. Did you ever believe it? I never did. As an entrepreneur who shifted after a work life of around 7 to 8 years into HR fraternity, when I wanted to make a shift and shift my gears, I took up image consulting, I took up soft skill training, which was definitely a calling. Okay, that has been my calling forever since the day I stepped into the corporate world, because I was into training, I was into corporate trainings, and I was doing trainings. Pandemic came in, all my systems got shaken up, and it's shaken up to the core that now I didn't knew what to do. First 1 month, I had to set my belief systems right. I had to reset it. And the word is reset, reboot. You have to troubleshoot it. 1 month it took me 1 entire month to understand how to go about my business, how to go about my trainings, wherein we as individuals are only taught. We are only taught of having a human connection, that until unless you have a human connection in training, until unless you have a human connection when you are interacting with customers, you are doing meetings, you can't have anything. You can't benefit. You can't watch. You can't gauge. You can't understand what is happening beyond that. But then we had reset our belief system. We did reset our belief system and we started blank. We started blank and now I am here. I think within the past 6 months, what I was not able to achieve in the past 2 years, I have achieved in 6 months. And I'm here with all of you panelists across the world, sitting here and talking and sharing my views. Now, what if I told you that I give you this kind of a paper to write? Can you see? This paper already is filled. with everything that you have. Similarly is your life. Till this pandemic, your paper, your life, your belief system is already filled up. You can't rewrite on a paper which is completely filled. For this to change, you have to take up a blank sheet. And today when I sat for this panel, I took up a blank sheet, and now I've started making my pillars of little belief system, which I'm getting from all you lovely panelists. So belief systems are nothing but those small bricks that you keep, the small bricks that you keep in your life to set up the roof of the belief system. And every time a new venture comes up, a new pandemic comes up, a new situation comes up, a new things comes up which requires your change, the person who can control his own roof of belief system by putting each brick by his own can only be able to survive in this kind of a situation. But if your belief systems are built on somebody else's belief, that what you can do and what you can't do, what is your potential that you can achieve, then, my friend, your belief system roof would be shakeable. It can be easily shaked up, and people can just make a touch and your belief system entirely falls, and you don't have any other beliefs than you, that thinking that I'm not good. I'm not good enough. Don't have potential. I don't have caliber. All these negative thoughts only comes up in your mind if your belief roof is built on someone else's bricks that has been given to you since childhood. So I would like to say that every one of you, be it you are an entrepreneur, be it you have a leadership team, be it you have, you are on the CTO level, CEO level, you are at whichever level. You are talking about customer satisfaction. You are talking about building new technology. You are talking about machine learning coming in. You are talking about, some of the jobs getting out of business in the coming 10 years, 20 years. But one thing, if you don't change within your team and your people, is their belief system. You have to make them believe, and you have to make a transformation in their belief system, saying that, yes, you can do it. And this, you are not going to point it out. The person in your team has to think, has to take the onus of his own beliefs. If he takes the onus of his own belief that, yes, he can do it, mind it, you direct him or not, you lead him or not, he will be able to achieve whatever is your vision to achieve in life. So belief systems, when I talk about, yes, it's developed in the childhood, but like our values, this can be changed. And for this change to happen, you as a leader or a company or an organization have to instill that belief in your employee that, yes, he is able to do it. Because understand, when you are in a corporate, when you are leading a company, when you are a CTO, CEO, or any kind of a leadership position, the employee looks up to you. Because since childhood, we are taught that you should always look up to elders for a reference, right? And that easily does not go out of us. So you are looked up. And when you are looked up and you say to the person that, oh, no, you can't do this. This is the fault that you have. Better you don't tell that. Let the person or your employee or the people you are working with, your teammate, get on to understanding what is not going right and what is not going wrong. And as per his knowledge, you just direct him, give him that cushion that, yes, I am there, but you can do it. And I have full faith in you. When that synergy of belief system between the leader, the corporate, and the employee, and of course the external customer would come in sync together, no one can stop transformation, and that transformation would be the best in the industry. So as talking about Cadila, if Cadila can do a cross of business in this kind of a pandemic, wherein the company, the industry is going low, but still the company is flourishing, is just because of the leadership belief system that you all have, that yes, you are able to achieve it. Your team can achieve it. You all are working towards digitalization. You all are working towards getting doctors on a panel where you have created a digital clinic for doctors to come on and interact with the customer. So yes, when Mr. Patrick told that the workplaces were closed, but we didn't stop working, and neither each one of us believed in that we have to stop working. We can't. We really can't stop working because yes, customer satisfaction is a priority. And as Dr. Rita rightly told, customer is the king and we have the pillars. But then to have that customer satisfaction, you have to have that belief in you, your team, and the work that you are doing. So until and unless each individual in your organization or your team develops that positive belief system, again, I will say again, because already one set of belief system has been developed in your childhood, but now you have to develop a new belief system again to be able to achieve this wonderful transformation. And yes, we are transforming to a lovely, lovely world wherein virtual living is the new normal, wherein we can also see the expressions of people when people are smiling on video calls. They think, oh my God, something is making a difference. So thank you so much. All of you were really encouraging. And last, I would just like to tell that beliefs are not to be, grounded like a, it's not nothing that you cannot change. It's just that your mindset has to change. You have to have a winner mindset to change your belief system. Thank you so much. This was Sonu Singh signing off, and I hope it gave you some insight into what is belief system and how you can incorporate it in the company. That is from my side. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Sonu. I think we are all motivated to change our own belief system already.
Thank you so much.
I think with belief system, I strongly believe that when you need to, the only way out is from within. So if you need to come out of something, it all starts from you. It all starts within, and that's where we need to start working on. And your topic really touched, I think, everybody's heart here, because it touched that starting point of belief system. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ruby. Thank you. I'm overwhelmed and honored with such a lovely family. Thank you so much.
Same here. Great. So moving on to the next panelist is Ms. Harshadi Sulakshna Vivalge. Welcome, Harshadi. Harshadi is a very rare combination of an entrepreneur who has business acumen as well as IT and innovation technology mindset. So very great combination, and she strongly believes in success, which is a journey and not a destination. So which also defines transformation, because transformation is also a journey. It is not the end point. So moving to that, I think she will talk to us today about embodying your obsessions through self-leadership. So yes, we moved from changing the belief system to self-leadership, which is a stepping stone towards transformation. Over to you, Harshadi. Harshadi?
Thank you for the great introduction.
Harshadi, you can start.
Hello. Yeah,
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Thank you so much for the great introduction about me. Because today is embody your obsession through self-leadership, but already a lot of people talk a lot of things about this transformation things. So whatever you all have talked, my perception is what we have to do is, before we transform anyone else, we have to transform ourselves to become a leader. As a leader, before we become a leader, we have to make ourselves together to build leaders. So ordinary people achieving extraordinary things through by self-leadership. So whatever we going to achieve is on ourselves will reflect to others. So as Dr. Rita and Mr. Patrick and Miss Sonu and all, they have gathered a lot of things about beliefs and everything. Yes, I do believe that the same. And what we have to change is, with the transformation, we have to transform ourselves with the perception. And with the pandemic, as an example, if I'm saying, a lot of traditional mindsets are there, like we are some of people are very afraid to use to digitalization, like apps. We do have a lot of apps, delivering apps, medicines, appointments, like bookings, channelings and all. They are very afraid to use that or that type of things because of the traditional mindsets. And the pandemic taught us digitalization is so close to people, and when we are doing self quarantines and all, we all at home, and we don't have foods inside, and we have to take that everything by ordering things, and we had to go for digital platforms. So people was afraid earlier to use that type of things, but with the pandemic they used to that. So those are the good things with the pandemic. Even with corona, they have taught us a lot of good lessons, as you all told. So my totally what I want to tell is self motivation, and I have almost 10 plus years experience with working with people, and I have worked for other companies, private sector, and as I have worked with consultants, what I have seen is they are having all the leadership skills and all, but they are lacking with all the leadership skills and all, but they are trying to manage people, but that won't happen in once at all. That can't done. That's a big process of that. That's why I'm telling success is a journey, not a destination. Destination is wherever we go, we are reaching to one place, but success is not like that, and the leadership also not like that. If we are thinking, okay, I'm a leader and now I can lead people, no, nothing like that. That's coming from our inner thoughts and the perception, how we are thinking, and how the motivational factors we can give to other people, and how we are reflecting our personality to others. That is the most important part. And also I want to tell, there are we don't have to have dreams. Actually, we have to have one dream about with everything. We can have a one dream, but we have to have a lot of plans to achieve that dream. That is the positive thought we always have to have. Even today, if we woke up with the positive mind, we have that dream in our corner, in our mind. Whenever we do something, we are planning each by each day, with each task, day by day we are reaching to that dream. So that is the positive thing we have to have in our mind, and the transformation starting from there, from inner side of us. So if we can transform ourselves, then the world also starting to move. We can't transform each and every person, but if we transform, and some people looking at us as well. So if the personality is correct, people will look at us, they will transform with all the positive things and all. We can motivate people, so leadership automatically coming to there. So we don't have to make it like we don't have to make it very complicated. So behaving like a human being mostly, and adding human sense to the transformation is the most important thing. And also I can say, if we want to uh, with the obsession through self leadership, if we are going through, we have to have 4 pillars. Actually, what I have gathered to myself, knowing who you are. The most important thing is that I have to understand what are the lack points and what are the good points in me, and what are the skills I have. According to that, I had to approach myself, also other people. So what I'm believing, with what are the importance of me, and what are my goals. It's depend, and it's varied from each person to person. So likewise, the other one is second one, knowing what you do. And I'm not a doctor, I'm not a pilot, or I'm a businesswoman, like I'm an entrepreneur. So I should understand how I have to gather creativeness to the business, and creatively with the entrepreneurship, how I can build the business, and how can manage that, how the leadership goes, how the budgets goes, like that way. Those are my skills. So apart from that, apart from me, there are several leaderships depend on several skills. So it's very important to have knowing what you do as a field. If you are if you still don't know about what you can do, we have to try a lot of things. We will fail. Even Thomas Alva Edison didn't make the bulb within one shot. So we can try whatever the field is what we like. And we have to identify our inner passion for what. So then if we can identify that, that will be the transformation for the next generation. And the third one is knowing what you need to learn. Okay, one day that is totally wrong, but it's an incident what I wanted to share with people. When I'm doing my MBA, one manager asked from me, then I'm working for a private company. That manager was asking me, why you start the MBA? Why you want to do an MBA? I know that is very wrong question, but I didn't answer. I just smiled because if that person doesn't know the value of the education, nothing to talk with him. So likewise, there are so many people to drag you down than pushing you to up. So you have to understand qualifications are not everything, but practically if you can change the world and change things, innovations can happen. So we are talking about AIs and digitalization. So everything doing by people, doing by humans. So even rockets everything building and building structures, architectures, and everything's a human being. So we are the one who doing that. So whatever, even if I learn, if you are passionate to learn, even you can make a rocket. So that is not a big thing. Everything is science. Even we can learn and we can educate to people. That is, if the passionate thoughts and everything are inside of you, you can do a lot of things. So that is the third one I wanted to tell you, knowing what you need to learn. If you're passionate on that, MBAs and PhDs are not the everything, but if you are learning and experiencing everything, even the life, even today, what I'm getting through IRM is really a good exposure and experience for me. So that is what I'm learning. And the fourth one, final one, is using what you know. That is what doctors are using their knowledge to treat patients correctly and making them cure. So business also, it's like that. It's an art. So what I know is what I learn, what I educated by, I'm using to make incomes to other people, generate jobs in for the economy, and GDP and everything depend on what is we are doing today in action. So what using what you know is very important. Even if you know to cook, so you can start a restaurant or small online platform to sell your food and all. So we have to think from the basic level before but we have to have the bigger dream where we can achieve. If I can cook very well, so I can have a big dream about opening a five-star hotel or something. So likewise, you have to dream big and have a lot of plans, lot of routes to go to that dream. So that's what I want to tell. Then if you can transform like that way, that is the most important thing we can achieve. Also, I wanted to tell something. As a woman and girls, more than, I'm not trying to criticize anything. As girls, there's a very big challenge in other countries also, that parties have, and the age is a problem. When I'm coming to this field as an entrepreneur, and I'm having an IT company and I'm dealing with all the IT sector and all, when it is very new, it is like they're trying to criticize, like, oh, girl doing an IT and management business, or can do, like, they are doing like that. So don't give up on yourself, whatever happened. Even I have invested sometimes in my account balance in my early ages when I started, until my bank balance goes zero, I have invested for something and I'm expecting the cultivation. So that's how I never give up on my things. And what I'm asking is, never give up. Whatever happened, positive, negative, whatever happened, you have to try and try to reach your goal. So that's the final thing I want to tell you. And success is a journey, not a destination. Still, I'm on that quote. Thank you. Thank you for IRM. Thank you for Mr. Johnson and for having me here. Thank you so much.
Unmuted. Okay, great, Shadi. I think it was very inspiring, and thanks for sharing the journey with us. All right, moving to our next speaker, we have Richa Khandelwal Bhatt. Richa is actually she's CEO of Kesha Productions. She has won a lot of awards as well for her directorial assignments. Richa today would talk about her transformation journey from solopreneurship to entrepreneurship, which is again in line with what Shadi was talking to us about. We will try to stick to about 5 minutes so that we have 4 more speakers lined up after you, Richa. Sorry. Yes. Richa, go ahead, please.
So, hi. So the interesting thing is that I, have come from a very big joint family. So I want to start my whole conversation. I actually want to stick to storytelling. That's what I do best. Tell stories, and this is a real life story that's mine. So I come from a joint family, and I got married and went to Canada. And I was in this house that my husband had, rented for us, and it had a lot of white walls and a lot of white snow outside. Nobody to talk to. In my home in Delhi, there were like 25 people. You could just hop and skip to anyone, and there's just so much human interaction. But there's absolute silence. All you could hear was wind howling. So at that point, I had to decide, because I was a very passionate, reporter, a very passionate journalist at that point. And I had dreams that, I'm going to be the Barbara Walters and so on. And I'm going to really make it big. I'm going to really be, a big time celebrity news anchor and so on. But nothing happened. Nobody even replied to my inquiry for a job or for my job, mails. Not a single reply came. I would just keep on refreshing my inbox every 10 minutes, but nothing would happen. One fine day when I was just washing my dishes, I realized, oh my God, I need to do something. If there's no door opening for me, I need to create a door. That for me was a moment of transformation. And I chose to become an entrepreneur. I chose to become somebody who would create an opportunity for myself if nobody's opening doors. And then while working in Canada, I also want to share one beautiful moment when I was actually volunteering for a TV channel called TV Kojiko and was making a documentary film. And I was so passionate about filmmaking, I wouldn't want to do anything else. The first thing anybody thinks of when they travel abroad is, oh my God, you can start earning in dollars. And I had all the work permits and everything. I said, no, my filmmaking is my life. I cannot do anything other than that. It's my only thing, and my only interest is to make movies and to make stories and tell stories to people. So I had the choice between becoming, taking another profession or sticking to what I wanted to do always. So luckily for me, I got a chance to volunteer, and I got a chance to volunteer with a TV channel. I was standing there. I would pick the camera, tripod and everything, and I would take the bus. I would wait for the bus to come, city bus, which would charge me $2 to go from the TV station office to my home. All of a sudden, it started snowing heavily. And it was minus 40 almost. And I was standing there with all this equipment waiting for the bus to come. And the cabs were going by. The cab would charge $4 and the bus would take $2. So the entrepreneur in me would say, oh my God, I cannot afford to spend $4. So let me wait for the bus to come. And my shoe, the shoe tore open, and the snow and the water would get inside my shoe and was making my foot really, really cold. But still I stood there, and that was another moment when I said, no, let me just bear this pain and I will survive. And then all these hardships that I've gone through have made me one day, think that, oh my God, if it's happening to me, who I assume that I'm a really empowered individual, what would be happening to all the artistic-minded, creative professionals all over the world? So I decided that instead of working only for myself, I'm going to actually try and create opportunity for many, many people in my profession in filmmaking, photography, cinematographers, directors, writers. And I'm going to create a platform that will give opportunities to everyone. And I'm very proud to say that last year we gave paid work to more than 100 people around the country, from Uttarakhand to Chennai. And we are on a mission to actually create a very, very good platform called as Keshava Productions Private Limited, which is my company. And also now we are starting an NGO called Narayana's Bharat to enable people in the villages to make their creativity, tap into their creativity and make it turn into a viable profession. So that's the mission I'm on, and I'm very happy that I have this platform to share with you all on how these moments of inspiration have led to transformation from being a solopreneur who was just passionate about her career and my life, my money, my opportunity, my so and so, and then converting that to feeling the pain so deeply and connecting with the world at a soul level. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, they say, and if I'm allowed to just bring this context, and we started by remembering God. I just started in the pain. I started connecting to God, and I felt, oh my God, this is real. This is real life. It's not about the brands or the good talk, and it's real life. I have no work. I want to work. I want to do something. If I'm going through this, imagine all the brothers and sisters around who must be going through this too. So why not join hands and grow together? And that, again, that moment of inspiration has led to creation of my company, and it has led to creation of another NGO. And I'm actually studying at IIM Bangalore to take this business forward. And I'm very proud to say that our corporate films, our work, our films that we do with so much passion and so much dedication and sincerity have actually been discussed at many, many forums, including the Ministry of External Affairs and so on. So whatever we are passionate about, we got to do that. No compromising on that whatsoever. Even A.R. Rahman had that situation where he could either go for a 10,000 rupee job or he could continue with his music. What did he choose? Imagine what would have happened if A.R. Rahman had, in that moment of decision making, when his father passed away actually, and all the responsibility came to him, he had to give up on music. What a loss would it be to the world? So I'm very proud to say that I'm turning out, I'm transforming still, and being of value to the people around me. I have right now more than 40 mentees all over the country who come to me and say, we would like to work with you. We would like to learn with you. And I'm very happy and very proud to say that had it not been for that day in that snow where my shoe was broken and I chose to be entrepreneurial, I chose to stay the ground and fight the hardships and never give up. As so many speakers have said today, never give up. That I'm here today, and I'm so excited to open doors for so many people in my creative art of filmmaking and storytelling through the medium of film and video. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I hope, I did justice. I look forward to other speakers and what they have to say. Thank you so much, Camilla. Thank you so much for Alan and Mr. Johnson, especially to you for giving me this opportunity.
Pleasure.
Great, Richa. I think splendid, your experience and all of us in our life, the way our lives have turned, it's mainly because of the tough decisions that we take. So thank you for bringing this point across, and it has left all of us very inspired by your story. All right, moving to the next speaker is Ms. Ruhina Kabir. Ruhina would talk to us. Ruhina is HR specialist, and she would talk to us about how you can discover inner strength in adversities. So that's the topic for Ruhina. Over to you, Ruhina.
Good day, everyone. It's an honor and pleasure to be part of this forum, as I'm getting the opportunity to learn so many new things from all of you today. So in these few minutes, I will try to pass on some key learnings out of my personal experiences on the topic, discovering inner strength through adversities and finding purpose. Well, exactly 3 months ago, I lost my 80-year-old father back home in Pakistan. Due to pandemic, I wasn't able to see him in his last days. And obviously his sudden demise has left a big void in my heart. But today, I will talk about that 1 month before he passed away. My father was staying alone with a helper coming only 3 to 4 hours during daytime. I got to know that he's eating less and less every day. My conversations with him over the phone became difficult as he became very weak. I used to wait for his attendant to reach home in the morning so I can call him and find out how is my dad doing. Fast forward, June 10th, I asked one of my friends to get a smartphone for my dad. Expectations were that from now on, life will be better as my father will video chat with me, but that never happened. I managed to arrange attendance for 24/7, I contacted from here a local food service provider to deliver home cooked meals for my dad. I requested a couple of my friends to visit my father and find out exactly his condition. Well, being the only child, I wanted to do whatever I could to facilitate my father's situation. I found out on June 20th evening that my dad is no more. I couldn't attend his funeral. And understandably, traveling was impossible in the month of June. But there's a flip side of the situation. I realized my father, who has always been my role model, left making me stronger and better. Being physically away from dad, depending upon the attendants who I've never met, ensuring my father gets healthy meals, requesting my friends to visit him so at least I can get a better picture about him, calling doctors from here so they can attend his medical needs. This all was not easy. I felt helpless. But then I remembered, it's not what you get out of a situation, what you become out of a situation that matters. I believe this whole incident pushed me to bring forward the best of my potential to handle a critical situation without being present there. Single-handedly, I learned to put together a team of couple of friends and helpers who can attend my father's needs till his final rites in the best possible way. It enhanced my planning and leadership skills, and most importantly, it taught me patience. Moving forward, let me also tell you that I'm in the treatment for psoriasis for the last 2 decades. Psoriasis is a skin disorder that causes skin cells to multiply up to 10 times faster than normal. You get flaky skin all over your body. So years ago, I asked my doctor, when will this get over? I was super frustrated and embarrassed as I was a college-going girl, and it was all visible on most parts of my body. My doctor asked me a question. He said, Ruhina, do you brush your teeth daily? I was taken aback and I said, obviously, that's my hygiene routine. He said, likewise, psoriasis is now part of your life. You have to live with it. Either you can become cranky about it or manage it positively for years to come. Choice is yours. So what did psoriasis teach me? Discipline and self-love. I have been managing psoriasis by applying medication regularly, and now I have become confident in my own patchy skin. I know health conditions are the biggest adversities in life, but you must believe in the fact that whatever illness had occurred can be fought back with your courage and determination. One last learning, and I'm done. We all know this pandemic has brought unemployment challenges to many out there. A close family member lost his job during 2008 recession, global recession. I'm sure you all remember. I witnessed very closely the adversity of career hiccups, immensely impacting financial and social pressures. This person was out of his job for more than 12 months, but he never gave up, trying again and again. In fact, on top of it, he made an extra effort to upskill his profile. He continued building relations with people and most importantly, took care of his health more than before. After almost 18 months of extreme tough times, he landed on his dream job. That person taught me perseverance, persistence in doing something despite difficulty or delay in achieving success. This person is none other than my significant other. I hope some of my life experiences had helped you to strengthen the belief that adversities in life bring the best out of you. They take you closer to your purpose of life, which you built upon the moral values, the belief system, which Sonu was mentioning. So I would encourage all of you never to get intimidated during any kind of adversities, be it losing your loved ones, financial or social, financial or health crisis, or even confronting odds like COVID-19. You just have to reflect on your purpose and build upon your inner hidden strengths. And on that note, in the end, I would like to share a quote. Hardships often prepare ordinary people for extraordinary destiny, by C.S. Lewis. Thank you everyone for listening so patiently.
Thank you so much, Ruhina. I think life experiences do teach us a lot, but I want to congratulate you today because it takes a lot of courage to talk about a loss. Having lost my own mom 3 years back, I'm still not very, comfortable. I get very sensitive about it. So kudos to you. You really took it with the right spirit and also sent the right message to us. Thanks a lot. Moving to our next speaker, we have Aparna Pasikosh. Aparna is director and keynote speaker at Third Arm Consultancy. Aparna's topic is very interesting because again, she would talk about her journey from moving from an introvert to an extrovert. I think a lot of us can resonate to this topic because many of us who talk so confidently were introvert at some point in time. So Aparna, tell us about your journey and we would like to know more about it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody. And it is such a great pleasure to share the panel with such renowned speakers all over the world. I'd like to personally thank Mr. Johnson and you as well, and the IRN team for giving me the opportunity here. And of course, the lovely audience as well. So, I wanted to speak about this topic on personal transformation. And I really wondered, how do I really stuff my experience in this 5 to 6 minutes talk? And then I thought, the best would be to maybe fleetingly state my story where it all started. So I'm going to take you back 20 years from today. So 20 years back when I was in school, I remember I was with my mother waiting outside my classroom for my final exam results of class 6th. And while my mother was stressed, I was completely insouciant. For me, success was just a pass mark, and that's it. We entered, my mother sat down and asked my class teacher, has she passed? And let me tell you, I was someone who's always scored very bad grades. So my teacher said, yes, she just made it. I was all elated that I passed. And my mom heaved a sigh of relief and she said, I don't know, that very moment walloped me. My mother said, thank God she passed. I mean, we stepped out of the classroom and all of us were perturbed. I was uneasy. And I actually saw my friends rejoicing. My, other mothers and parents came to my mother asking how much she scored, and she barely said she passed. I said, passed, that's it. Is this the impression I have or always had, on others? For the first time, ladies and gentlemen, I thought, that what is this? This is what I actually value. This is what my friends would be thinking. What is that my mom would be thinking? My grandparents, I come from a family of doctors and engineers. And my grandparents have knitted so many stories and they've told me so many success stories of so many of our people. And I never really bothered about them. My father always wanted me to get scholarship from his office, which I never really wanted to. But all of a sudden, I stopped feeling good. Because I actually started to think of the fact that is it that what everybody would be thinking about me? And that's where the story of my transformation began. I realized that day the cost of doing the same old thing is much higher than the cost of an alteration. I realized that I've always procrastinated. I've been indolent. And while 11 years of my life, I don't even have a single feather in my cap. And that is what I suddenly felt, the quest of doing something valuable, something which does not categorize me as, as trifling. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the first lesson I learned in personal transformation from my personal experience, that, start when you value. The personal transformation actually starts when you value yourself, when you care for your own self. Self-value is not an emotion, it's a behavior in self. It's the entitlement, it's the feeling of your own self where you wish to work towards the greater high. And that's how I started. And I could see so many of you, stated a very similar example that you wanted to start something, you wanted to really move on. And, that's how I started. So first thing is that, value yourself. That's when the transformation starts. It did bother me, to be honest with you, because I was already 12 years old. I actually thought, how will I cope up? Will I be at par with other students? And that's why I remember very candidly, my teacher, Mrs. Seth, I was in class 7th, she entered the classroom and she announced that students, we need a volunteer for an elocution competition, for someone to represent the school. I instantly raised my hand. And I still remember my teacher asked me sarcastically, "You sure?" Because I was someone who's never been into a public speaking forum. I have never faced a stage, never wanted to as well. But I said, yes, I want to. I tried and I won the first place in the elocution competition. And ladies and gentlemen, that leads to the second and the third lesson on personal transformation from my story. I see, that it doesn't matter when you start, but what matters is that you start and how you start. And that will lead to a transformation in your presentation, your confidence, and it matters. It matters to you as a person because you start counting the fact that, yes, at least I started. My third lesson, that transformation does not come only by making plan and musing. It actually comes by participation. Invest your energies in engaging them to make it happen. Like a lot of you mentioned, I wanted to do something, I wanted to open my own production house. I wanted to improve the customer centricity. And there's so many success stories we heard. And I think we all have made it happen because each of us was in action. So ladies and gentlemen, take that bait, that chance, because that action, the transformation, the change is only going to come when you move out of your plans and you make it happen. If I wouldn't have raised my hand that day, I would have been hesitant throughout. I possibly would have realized that, I wouldn't have been a great public speaker. And from them, I participated in all the activities of the school. Some places I won, some places I learned. But I never thought that, I actually lost. I think I learned a lot. So personal transformation, ladies and gentlemen, is not mere an activity, but it's about that choice, that these small little choice that make. I heard Ivan also mentioning that it's a very gradual process, and I completely agree with her. You may take many small steps. Transformation is so gradual and it's a plodding process. And most big changes are made by taking small steps every day over a long period of time. Personal transformation takes time. It's not linear, obviously, but it helps you to get an image which you never thought, a sense of convenience that you get onto it, which fills you with a lot of colors. So sometimes you may take 3 steps forward, sometimes you may go 2 steps backward. Many a times you may, you possibly win something and you'll make huge rises in a day. So laconically, I truly propagate the fact that every expert was once a beginner. Transformation is the same. If you feel that someone has arrived, any of us who's actually, is at the pinnacle, I think all of you was a beginner once upon a time, right? And remember, possibly when that person was started, or when we started afresh with no experience, with no contacts, with no network. Maybe we were weaker. So in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to conclude my talk by saying that, as stated by Richard Branson, every success story is a tale of constant adaptation, revision, and change. Because success and transformation can never be delegated, and it always has to be in action. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening to me. Thank you.
Amazing, Aparna. Thanks a lot. You took us all down the memory lane of our childhood, I think. All of us have these stories, and we were just with you, living your childhood along with you in your story. Thanks a lot. Okay, so now we have Deepshika as the final speaker, and after this we open the floor for questions. So if you have questions, keep them ready while we hear Deepshika talk about, actually before that I'll introduce her. She's a passionate trainer and a coach by heart, and today she's going to talk to us about transformation through NLP, which is very important technique. So we talk about a lot of things related to transformation, the building blocks, what goes within, but then when you put into action, like how Aparna mentioned about acting on the transformation. So when we go towards that, NLP is one of the techniques which is really going to help us. So over to you, Deepshika.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. And thank you so much for having me here on this platform. Thank you, Mr. Matthew, and all the people, lovely people out here. And I never knew I was the last person to speak here. And so half of my job is already done. So I heard everyone, and in a way it is all related to what I am going to speak on. And I'm really happy all of us are successful in our own ways, and we really are creating the life that we desire and deserve. All right, so before I start, I'll just request all of you to just engage yourselves in a little exercise. It'll just take a few seconds. All right, so I think you will have to switch on your video. And whatever I say, you just have to follow doing that. Okay, so take a deep breath, all of you. And I would request all the viewers who are like audience, like through Facebook, you can also do wherever you are sitting. All right, take a deep breath. Close your eyes, and no cheating, please. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. One more time. Relax. Keep your eyes closed. And when I talk to you, keep your eyes closed and just imagine. In your imagination, hold a large orange in your hand. Feel the softness of this orange, the texture. As you peel away the skin, you get this intense fragrance. Now you take out a piece of the orange into your mouth. As you put it into your mouth, you bite it, and this sweet juice explodes in the mouth. You get this taste of sweetness. It's so tangy and sweet as well. Keep chewing. What a taste. So refreshing it is. Wow. All right. As soon as you feel comfortable, please open your eyes and come back. Okay, thank you so much. So, because this is a virtual platform and it's just so much fun interacting with the participants when I do this in my training program. So, my point here is, did we really have an orange in our hands? No. Did we really taste it? No, not at all, right? Did we really smell it? Not at all, but yes, we did experience it, right? Body and mind are the parts of the same system. I know all the panelists sitting out here, they've gone through a lot in life and they understand this. But there are a lot of other people in our viewers, or they could be anybody. We don't realize how powerful is imagination to us, right? Doesn't matter your body allows you to do something or not. If your mind is ready for it, your body will automatically follow. And it is vice versa, isn't it? Whenever you're sad, just a simple thing, you just stand up from your place and start jumping or start smiling, and you will see the difference happening. And what I'm saying is not just a funda, it is science, right? My topic for today is neuro-linguistic programming. I am living NLP since 2010, all right? So it is going to be 10 years in my life when I started living NLP, and it really did magic to my life. NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. Neuro is the brain science, how your brain works, all right? And how do we react to it? Linguistic is the language piece of it, and how do we really decode the language of ourselves and what the people are talking to us. Programming is the habits, the patterns of behavior. Somebody comes and slaps us. What do we do next? We give him a tight slap again, isn't it? So that's the programming which has been done. So I'll just quickly, although Kruti has given me only 5 minutes to speak, this is such a vast subject. I really wanted to talk a lot about it. I'll just share with you my own experiences or my own journey. The key points that I picked up from NLP and how is it helping. In case anybody who's like watching right here wants to reach out to know more about the subject or any sort of help or support, assistance, I'll be really, really happy to help you all. All right, so NLP is, as I said, it is about, neurology plus language decoding, understanding the unconscious or the subconscious patterns of ourselves. All right, like for example, if you touch a hot pan, what happens next? You just touch it and your hand moves away, isn't it? So this is in our subconscious. We know that the brain knows that whenever I come across such a situation, this is what I need to do. And we have a lot of other things also which has already gone into our subconscious, like let's say driving a vehicle. So if you go back to the day when you started learning how to drive a vehicle, let's say a four-wheeler, it was really, really difficult for us to, take care of all A, B, C, the accelerator, brake, and clutch. I remember when I started, I used to learn A is at the right side. So I used to look at the, speedometer, agar 10 kilometer per hour here, I have to put my leg there, here. So it was, because it was something which I was consciously learning. But when I started repeating it again and again and again, it went into my subconscious, and now it is like effortless, isn't it? I don't remember what do I do when I just get into my car. So, and it happens with everyone. So a lot of things have put in the subconscious, but it is very important to understand consciously about your subconscious, because unless we are conscious about the subconscious inside, then things will keep happening to us and we will call it fate. And this is a very famous quotation by Carl Jung. All right, we know him. All right, so very quickly, I'll just talk about a few things which is really, really important in my life. All right, so let us talk about brain. Everybody has a brain, right? And if the size of the brain or the physical structure of the brain, and also the neurological responses, the neurological connections, not responses, connections in the brain are all the same for everyone. But yes, because of our upbringing, because of the different experiences that we have, because of our thought process, because of the surroundings that we have been in, we start responding differently. And that is what makes us unique. Right? So, and NLP also talks about the 5 basic senses, and this is the basic of NLP. When I say 5 basic senses, it is the sense of seeing, which is like visualizing, hearing, which is auditory, kinesthetic is to do with touch, feel, audit, and we have then olfactory, which is to do with the sense of smell, and gustatory, which is to do with the sense of taste, right? Everybody out here receives information or captures information through these 5 senses, isn't it? But it all depends on what is your focus point. And that is what makes a difference in our lives, right? And that is what happened to me also. So the first takeaway from NLP in my personal life was focus. And I'll just share with you very quickly how important is this focus. All right, I'll just give you one example. So in 2000 and I guess 14, when I was to buy my second car, all right, I was really wanting to decide which car to buy. All right, and somewhere I saw a blue Volkswagen Polo. So when I used to come back from my office to my home, which was around 10 kilometers distance, before deciding that I have to buy a blue Polo, I actually never saw any blue Polo, right? in the path. But the moment my brain picked up that decision that I have to buy a blue Volkswagen Polo, believe you me, I will be very honest, every day when I used to come back from my office to my home, at least 3 to 4 blue Polos were really there. And I could see that, you know. So it is not that it all came all of a sudden. It is just because of the focus that I have had in my mind. And that is how my belief and my decision of getting a blue polo became stronger and stronger day by day. I actually got it. And I really love my car. It is 6 years old, and that is my favorite small blue polo car. And this is what happens in life, all right? Whatever you focus on, you will get it. So why don't we focus on what we really want to get? Let's say we want to become a public speaker. Why don't we really watch the public speakers speaking? Why don't we learn from them? Why don't we watch YouTube videos? So in order to get what you want, you need to focus on what you want to get. All right. That was my first key takeaway from NLP. So we need to mind our focus. Second was cause and effect. All right. Get results versus give reasons. In every day, something of this sort happens, right? I'll give you another example, a very small example you will all relate it to. In a place like Gurgaon or Delhi or Mumbai, so there's a huge problem of traffic, right? Traffic jam. What happens is when let's say we are in the middle of a road and there is absolutely traffic jam there, most of us in our cars start cribbing about the city or the people around. Ye kaisi jagah hai? What is it, yaar? Gurgaon, I think I should just leave Gurgaon. This is such a pathetic place. But in the midst of all the chaos, you will always find one hero who comes out of his car and actually creates space for everyone, isn't it? He is not bogged down by what happened to him. He creates a way for him. And in fact, not just for himself, but for others also. He stands there as a traffic police. He does all this, and then the cars start moving. Now, this is the difference between get results and give reasons. At times, we are at the effect side, and most of the times we are at the effect side when we are like, we feel so weak. Why do these things happen to me? We get affected by things, all right? And that is the state of weakness. We can never create changes when we are at a weak state of mind versus get results. We become the cause and we create things for us, right? We make things happen for us like this hero did. So this was the second piece of takeaways from NLP journey. Whenever I'm bogged down and I feel stuck, I just realize, I just reflect upon whether I'm at the effect side or the cause side, give reason side or get result side, and I just switch over. This works so beautifully. If you want to try, you can try at home. The third key takeaway was everyone has its own model of world, right? There are a lot of conflicts that happen in the organization. There are a lot of conflicts that keep happening between a wife and a husband, right? I feel so proud to tell you, it's like more than 10 years of my marriage. I have 2 kids also, and there has not been a single event or a single incident when me and my husband had fought or had a big conflict. And I feel so proud about it. And I'm really telling you, this is all about the acknowledgement that everybody has his own model of world, right? So like in the pandemic, a lot of people are suffering, right? But the women out there in their homes, they're trying to create opportunities for themselves because work from home is working, isn't it? So everybody has a unique model of world. We need to respect that. And when you do that, you earn respect, you build rapport, you get your things done. So that is the third piece that I wanted to share. The fourth one is, as many of the speakers told about their hardships, we also talked about adversities making us stronger. I really believe that there is no failure. It is just a feedback of your actions. And in fact, there is no success either. That is again a feedback of your actions, right? If you consider whatever the consequences of an action as a feedback, you learn from it. If you consider the consequences of an action as a failure, you will get bogged down and you'll just give up. So that is the fourth piece of fourth takeaway that I wanted to share. And so there are a lot of things, Mr. Matthew. I'm really sorry I would not be able to cover everything, but yes, at the end, just a few points. If somebody can do it, anybody can do it. And I'm not just saying because, you know, it is good to say, but I have done it, right? 2004, so I'll just quickly wind it up. 2004 is when I completed my engineering. I got placed in Hero MotoCorp. It is still the first company I'm working in. I joined as a graduate engineer trainee. All right. I landed up in a manufacturing industry. I did not know what it is about, but this training thing was always there in me. I was always passionate about it. 2004, I joined. I just, you know, made up my mind to quit my job in 2006 and enter into the HR world. All of a sudden, I got an opportunity from the organization to come to HR because they wanted somebody from engineering background to work for their technical training vertical. I was the first woman on shop floor for Hero MotoCorp. I was the first person in technical training for Hero MotoCorp. And once I entered into HR, I kept learning. I developed my own skills. 2010, I started with my NLP practitioner course. 2012, I did my diploma in NLP. And then 2014, I did my master practitioner. 2015, I did my certified trainer course. I kept doing a lot of training programs for my people because I wanted to spread the whole concept of NLP in the organization. 2019 is when I did my life coach certification, and it feels so great that you keep learning and achieving whatever you want in life. All right. It is just about being clear in your mind and having that focus clear. So with that, I'll just put a full stop to my sharing here, but would really love to connect with you all again sometime. Thank you so much, everyone out here. And I really loved listening to everyone. I've noted all the points, be it gig economy to artificial intelligence, being the voice that people want to hear, to being a fighter, to generating currency of trust, coming out of comfort zone, and a lot of it. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Deepshika. I think NLP is one thing which all of us would benefit from, and I think we're looking forward to your more engaging with you in a lot more sessions going forward. Moving to the questions, I think I'll reserve my question at the end. Anyone in the panelists and from the leadership team, if you have questions, please go ahead.
I think Mohan, Amit Doshi, Dinesh Chandar, and Amit Dubey should ask some questions to the panelists, because this is a very, very crucial for us as an IRM group. We are getting transforming ourselves, we are getting transformed, and we had a lot of parivartan happen this recently. In COVID period, we have done a fantastic job. So you should ask to Concetta, to Ivano, to Deepshika, to Aparna, to Richa. Patrick is the most important for us, Sonu, then Neetu. We got every top panelist here, Harshadi. Harshi is not present, should not give an answer. So I think start with Amit Doshi and then Amit Dubey, Dinesh Chandar, and then we all can ask many questions. We got a bit time now. If you are not hungry, I'm okay.
So thank you very much, all the lovely speakers. Transformation has definitely been a very close subject to my heart for the last 25 years. But every time I hear something about it or something about that person, it always motivates me to achieve something more. It's very easy to select a leader for transformation. But if you can throw some light on some aspects of, constructing a team for transformation, I also always get confused whether we should have the bad boys or the people who don't believe in transformation, to be the part of the team, or we have people who believe in transformation to be the part of the team, or a combination of both. So, what is the take on this particular point? Anybody can.
Richard, do you want to answer this?
Sure. So I think, thank you for the opportunity to answer this awesome question. My industry is creative people, and they're very independent in nature. They are not people as organized, as structured. So I come from a very physically driven, inspiration driven. If I want to work at 2 in the night, I'll work at 2 in the night. If I want to work at 6 in the morning, I'll work at 6 in the morning. If I don't want to work, I'll not work for 6 months. That kind of a team. And I have to work with that kind of people. So there was a time that we actually hired a lot of people and in the company in-house, and we expected them to really be very structured and be very, like, as you're saying, like, just very structured and very proper with everything. And we realized that because we were not giving them the time and the space to transform themselves, which we wanted actually, which is the whole basis of a creative company, we realized that everybody was just simply coming in and going back, doing their job and not putting their heart and soul into it. And then we realized it was actually becoming counterproductive. So giving space to people within whatever structure. So we actually took away that full-time job scenario and made people freelancers, or, people who were working on gigs, as Patrick said earlier. So people who were working on project basis when they could have all the freedom in the world to do whatever they wanted. We saw transformation in our company because we were not holding them by the collar, for not being able to deliver what we want, how we want, and so on. They were doing it at their own pace, their own luxury, and their own mood, and so on. So we, in this business of creative production, for us, this is a very critical topic. And for us, this is a problem that we face all the time. And we found a way to get over this by keeping the model and the team model really, really loose, and also being open to other people in the market. We also create a competitive feeling, and we are the ones who choose the teams, and we are the ones who call the shots. I hope I was able to answer that.
Maybe Aparna would like to add.
Yeah, thank you. So, okay, thank you. I primarily spent most of my time with hotels. I was working with the Oberoi Hotels for 15 years, moved with the Marriott Group, then with the real estate. I think one thing which, if we have to build a team, I think it's just so important to have your hiring process in order, because it's just so important to hire the right kind of people with the right attitude. And with the Oberoi Group, I've learned two things. That number one is devil is in the detail. And number two, which Mr. Oberoi and instills a lot in us, is that it's so important to hire right kind of people and to ensure that they fit into the bill. So attitude and hiring, I think, adding to Richa's point, I think that would be something which also would be very fruitful.
Neetu wants to say.
Neetu, you want to add something?
Yeah. So coming to your point, you should choose to be the leader. So my suggestion would be, choose a person who is having the most pain and who is really very passionate about making that difference, because they would be the ones who would be ready to go that extra mile to, just like we had our speakers, and even Richa mentioned that she was ready to bear the pain because she was so, had so much conviction in it. So that is where you need to basically look at for leadership.
True.
Thank
I
you.
think very well articulated, Neetu, Aparna and Richa. I think all of us try to find that fit, but then in the structure, we should also let the person live their dreams, because if we try to fit in a lot and forget the contribution part of it, then the person will never be part of our structure ever. So having that balance is very important in the team.
I think Amit Dubey should ask second question now.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I thoroughly enjoyed all of you. I think I've never seen a group who is so transparent and so open in sharing their own personal experiences. So I thoroughly enjoyed. Thanks a lot to all of you. My question is transformational change happens because of some crisis, because of some sudden changes, or we don't have any other option but to change? So collective transformation happens. So example is COVID. So none of us has any other option but to respond to this, change, and we responded, and some transformation happened. if it is so, if transformation happens because of some change, some fear, or we are not left with any other option, then if that is the case, and then if you want to bring some systemic transformation change, then how can you do so? Because I think Sonu talked about the belief system and importance of belief system, and belief system is something which you develop over a period of time, and changing anybody's belief system and even your own belief system is most difficult task. Then how to bring this kind of a change in a group of people when you are working in an organization with different people from different culture, different experiences, past experiences, then how you can bring a collective change where basically for a common cause you want to bring some change, but there are different belief systems, different people have different belief system. How you will bring that change?
Can I take this?
Ivana, anyone?
Yeah, can I reply?
So I would answer that because I think that touches a little bit of my subject. It's through the co-creation of the value between the people. So we are talking about the internal stakeholders in that particular subject when we touch the business. So yes, I agree. Every one of us comes from different culture, and but the world has moved so far that we all understand that we have different set of minds, we have different perspective on things. And transformation, the beauty of transformation is that we all have it in us. We all transformed ourselves from one thing to another, rather whether it was personal or from the career side. So when we look at the team and we want to, let's say, we have an operational team that needs to be more proactive in answering some questions to the customers, and that doesn't happen. And the culture of the department, for example, is not as easy as, for example, the head of department would want. So you collectively take everyone's opinion through any type of surveys or one-to-one conversation. And this actually happened to me in my previous work experience, where we had to make a drastic change in certain departments because people were not able to get out of their zones. It's not even about talking about the comfort zone, but the zone of work. So they were doing particular job in a particular way, and they didn't want to bring any new processes or any new ways into their work. So they would be like, okay, leave me to it. I will do my way the things. I have been doing it for many years now. So with these people, with this kind of employees, you have to have the one-to-one conversations on many different subjects to bring their attention or bring their, let's say, interest in the change. Because change doesn't happen through just one argument or one, when I'm saying argument, one example. I have worked with people that needed a few examples of why the change is needed or how it will improve their life or improve their work style. And it took a while before people could actually understand, because they've been living the same pattern for many years. So that's how, when I approach a team with the change that needs to be done, and it has to be done across the whole department or the whole company, I approach it.
Thank you.
I think Ivana, that's good one. Let Concetta also say, Patrick also use that, because they both can give the answer to Amey. Thanks. I think that's also a good one. To connect with Ivana, Concetta can take over. Okay. And Patrick, anyone.
I would just like to add something to Ivana. Is that okay? Okay. So I just want to add something that it's very good what you say, Ivona, in a technique how to do that. I just want to answer the global question as a psychologist. You cannot force a change to somebody. You cannot. People change because they want to, not because they have to. So if you feel the change is something you need to do, they will do it. So if you want them to change something, you have to convince them there's a better way to do so. And then once they see it, there's a better way, they will themselves change. You cannot just force someone to, you can with a gun in your face, yeah, you can, but I mean, that won't be sustainable. So the best way is to understand in a teamwork, the best way is to acknowledge that you cannot force a change to any individual, but people change when they feel is the need. Exactly like we did for the COVID. You know, there was no other way to work, then we find another way to work. But we still work because that was the main thing. We still live, but we find another way. I have to wear a mask now every time I go somewhere. It's not something I enjoy, but I still go out. I have to, you know, I still live my life with or without my adaptation. So the change, whether forced or needed, is there. And now you, to go with what Ivona said, yes, asking the people what they want and how they see their life, this is the first base. You have to know why you're doing so. And there's, you know, convincing someone is always like an argument between what I believe and what you believe. And it's like trying to convince me that blue is better than red. Well, we can talk until tomorrow morning and you still don't agree. It's not that one is better than the others. It's just a different taste or different way to do the same thing. You know, now if the policy, I mean, American company, for example, have a way. In McDonald's, for example, when you enter McDonald's, you're no longer Patrick, you Mac Patrick. And so I take my Mac shirt and I take my Mac mop, so I can serve my Big Mac. So it's everything you can Mac. And they believe that in 1970s and 80s, that by branding to the core, using NLP actually, in a bad way, but branding, because there's NLP good way and bad way. So not to, so I like what you say about NLP, but I mean, the way the Americans have used it is based on the Vietnam War, right? NLP was created during the Vietnam War because they couldn't convince enough people to get killed in Vietnam. So that's why. But I mean, if you don't use that way, then yes, it's a great tool. So they're trying to brainwash the people, and that brainwash never really happened. I mean, it's people leave, you know, Apple and corporation, they do the same thing. I left Apple because one day I want to go to the bathroom and they say 3145. I said, who is 3145? And I realized it was my badge number, but my name is Patrick and it was sitting right underneath. They didn't know my name. They knew my badge number, 3145. Like, what the hell? Like, so yeah, that you have to, if you want to improve change or make people valued, you have to value them in return. You have to ask what they want, how they want it, why they do this thing, and you have to have a conversation. If you treat it as a number, if you treat it as a Mac mob or a Mac t-shirt, if you treat it, then that's it. You have a conflict to start with, and that will be never resolved. So that's my advice. The change will only come when the people want to change. And because they understand the change is needed, not because you or somebody else asked it.
Sonu can answer that. Sonu can answer that.
You wanted to
add something?
I think Ivona and Patrick has already answered what I wanted to, but I just want to add one thing, that there is a push change and there is a pull change. So you don't have to go to the push change, you have to go to the pull change technique, wherein you actually have to pull people towards accepting change by, of course, as Patrick told, asking them what they need, why they need, and how will they benefit. You know, when people see benefit, this is the most important thing. When people, employees or anybody, like when a company is giving free something, that's a benefit, right? So free, kuch free milega, yaar, chalo lete hai. You know, they will accept that change. Now, when COVID started, our government got a push change where they told you have to be at home, there is no other option. But after a month, they released it, saying that, yes, now you can go slowly out. Now, people till then had accepted the fact that now we have to change. So that is why. The other question which you asked is how people change. Is it only when pressure comes in or only when conditions like this comes in? No, people change when they realize within themselves that if they don't change now, they will break. So you have to make them realize that before you break down, start into the change, get in the change process. Otherwise, you will always be stuck at this same level and you will not grow. So that is a benefit. You have to show them the growth and the benefit and get into pull kind of a change, not the push change. That is my take on it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So Pawan and Dinesh wants to ask something. One question.
Yes, nice to have this session. You know, we could see the beautiful faces in the morning, and it was one of the wonderful session. And we could hear a lot of. Now, my one basic question is, how can this NLP will help for the identification of customer as well as maybe satisfaction of customer? That is the first one. Second is for the Patrick, Mr. Patrick, that how this transformation will help for the interaction with the people when the people are working from home. Now most of the things are happening through the virtuals. How this will impact on the transformation of the people?
I think first Deepsika should answer on NLP and then Patrick takes over.
All right, thank you, Pawan, for asking this question. NLP to me is very relevant to connect with the customers, understanding the customer needs, selling. All right, it also talks about selling skills. So a lot of it is about understanding others, where they are coming from. All right, the hidden values and the hidden belief system. So it also talks about that. Let's say, for example, the internal representations I just talked about, which was like visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and all right? So we all have preferences for that you can understand while we talk. Like normally what I do is I see things happening, all right? I need to see things. I need to see my people smiling. And that's how I understand how did my training or a coaching thing happened. When I'm only on phone and just the auditory thing is happening, it makes me a little uncomfortable. All right. So when you reach out to a customer, you need to understand the language that he's, he is speaking. All right. What is it? So I'm just telling you one piece of it. Let's say there is a customer who's wanting satisfaction or happiness from the product, or it is for his daughter, or let's say for his son. So he's clearly speaking out emotions to you, all right, which is kinesthetic. And when you actually sell your product or a service in those terms, so when you talk the customer's language, and that is when this rapport building will happen, and that is how we can influence a customer. So, so I hope I answered your query or the question. But yes, there are a lot of other things also into it. But in short, you can use the internal representations also to understand your customer. In fact, create your customers as well. Thank you.
Okay. I will, it was so much echo. I will need to, can somebody rephrase the question for me? Sorry, I couldn't clearly hear the question with all the echo. So I don't want to, can somebody rephrase?
Can you ask again? Dinesh, can you repeat another question to Patrick?
It is question for Patrick. Now this, you are talking of transformations, and the people are transforming from the, because of COVID-19, from the office to home. And then there are a lot of interactions like meeting each other, and all this transformation will be missed. So how this will be this will be affect on the transformation of the people?
Well, I believe, and that's what I'm trying to do, I believe we have to find, if everything's changed, the management has to change too. I mean, you cannot, it's a boat. You cannot turn the front of the boat, but without turning the back of the boat. It's the whole boat turn or it breaks, right? So you want to change the people at the back, you have to change people in the front. It's a whole same boat. It's made of the same thing. So a company will change together or sink together. It's that simple. So it should be so graphic, but so the leader, if they're supposed to lead, then they have to make the change first. This is the captain that hold the the wheel, not the people at the back. So the leaders have to find a new way to lead. First of all, physically, because the people are no longer at work or less at work. The Monday morning meeting, it's all online. Working online means also that I work, not only I work online, I work when I want to, right? That means like if I have to do my job today, why should I do at 8 in the morning? Can I do at 4 in the afternoon? Because that suits my schedule better. It will be done today, but not at 8. So don't call me at 9 to say, have you done yet? Because I'm still in bed. But I promise today that will be done today. So between the physical change, the dynamic, the thing be done, and the different time zone, because some people will be in different time zone, then the management have to also adapt to this. That's what I'm trying to do here with Leader of Tomorrow. So that's been said, and no one really know how it's going to end up with, because it's too early to say. But I can see already that company that there is 3 models I can see. There's one model that say, well, we don't like that change. We don't want to change. How we come back to normal as soon as possible? I don't think we come back to normal. I think what the change we're just going through is here to last. We start a new beginning of something, you know? So if you wanted the first category expecting to come back as soon as possible, that's it. I don't think it will happen. Honestly, that's my opinion, but I don't think it will happen. Number 2, you will surf with a wave and you're trying to adapt the best you can. If you do like this, if you're not proactive, you'll be always trailing at the back. So the only other option is to lead the way and to find a new way to be. And for that reason, leadership, I really have to sit down and think, okay, also, we were dealing for millennia for quite some time, you know, and the millennia voices have just been bigger and wider. So the millennia was quitting the job place and saying, what's wrong with these people? Why they cannot follow any orders? It was the case before the pandemic. Now is going to be even worse. If you don't listen to them, then you have soon no more employee, because they are the future. So if you kick off of the millennia, then you're done working. So you will have to adapt to them or not. I'll give you a quick example. In Air Canada, when I was working there once, there was like a long queue, summertime, you know, all the flights in the morning. The queue was outside the building, outside the terminal. And there was one lady, we didn't open yet. There was one lady that was like in tears texting to her best friend because her cat, the cat of the best friend died. That was very important for her, 22 years old, right? She was very, very there. She didn't concentrate on the work. And then when eventually we opened the queue, she still didn't work. So the manager came and said, excuse me, can you put the phone down? We have people in front of you. And she said, excuse me, the cat of my best friend died. That's more important than your stupid job. And she quit. So she quit immediately. So the training was 6 months. Air Canada just spent 6 months on that employee. And she quit because the manager couldn't leave her to finish the text, because to her value, the cat death of the best friend was much more important than whatever client is. Now, if you let her finish the text, she will work until tonight. But because it was now time, and then she lost an employee and 6 months of training. So I see this mistake, not as the employee, but as the employer, really, in this case. Give 5 more minutes. I know you're losing 5 more minutes and time is money, I understand. But for the 5 extra minutes and the compassion you show, she will stay until 2 in the morning if she has to. So everything has to be changed, and we have to deal. We didn't want to deal with it. Now we have to deal with it, because they're going to express themselves. That's all I have to say. It's a long, long topic. But yes, there's a new way of leadership to find, and it has to start with the leadership first. You know, because when you're turning the wheel, the whole ship's turning, not just a part of it.
Rightly said.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
I think we got Bhavika Chabaria and Pushpa from IIM Shillong, and across pan-India, across the country, IIMs are watching our Facebook. Indus University is watching our Facebook. IMT Ghaziabad, we got Symbiosis University, ISB Hyderabad, Symbiosis Hyderabad, we got Nirma University, we got NIMS from across the country. All are watching our live. They all are waiting and listening to all our expert talk. Thank you all expert panels. I think Bhavika and Pushpa representing IIM Shillong. If you have any question, please throw now.
Sir, Johnson sir, I have one question.
Pawan, I will give you after this Bhavika, Pawan, and then Kruti. Bhavika.
Thank you, sir. So my question is actually to Mr. Patrick. I was very intrigued on certain topics that you covered on AI and gig economy. And there's a lot of study that I was also doing from the work from home model, which is started, and which leads to a lot of mental stress in individuals because there is no balance between work and home. And I know that you spoke about AI, you spoke about digitization. So how do you think going forward, if we are looking at transforming ourselves, we are looking at transforming the world around us, how do we maintain this balance of human and machine? How do we make sure that we do not mingle it and, you know, we are still growing strong and don't get too influenced by it?
That's a deep topic, but I will try to, with my mere experience, to answer that the best I can. There is a question at the moment with all these people. At the moment, who is making AI? Coders, engineer, right? They are not the people on the panel today. They are not the people from the heart. They are the coders. I understand. First, they have to overcome the technicity of it. They have to make it work. Now, when it's working, what kind of value would they have? That's nobody knows at the moment, right? And who is going to teach the value? Psychologists or coders? Is that a 15-year-old coder that just know nothing about life, but know how to code very well? I'm relying on to teach those machines the history of the world, or shall we take an historian to do so? And somebody wise. So at the moment, the industry is not there yet. They're trying to make it work. So, and it's working, but they only see the technical value of it. With this, we can go quicker, we can go faster, we can think. But we don't know yet the interaction between the human and the new species called AI. Now, to answer about working from home, there's a trick, there's a double-edged knife. Working from home was never a place to work, except in the Middle Age when it was a farm. Right? That you were working and farming at the same place. That was where you were living. But in the modern day, we like the separation between work and home. So if there's no separation, I can tell you something. My little girl is right here and want my attention for the last 4 hours. And I'm on the computer. So because I have no other place to go at the moment than to this kitchen where you don't see because I put a nice background. So my home is not my workplace. I should have an office. But I don't have an office. I'm working from home. So for most people, they first see the joy. There's a curve, right? They first see the joy of staying home, spending more time with the family at first. And then they see, because they never done it, like the counterpart of it. My God, if I work from home, can I have 5 minutes of silence? Can I have my own consultation time? Can I have time to do my own stuff? And now people are missing, not workplace, they're missing their own space. So their own space doesn't have to be back to work. It could be at the beach. Like on the picture, if you're on alone over there, then if I go to the beach alone, because at the moment there's no tourists in Thailand, then yes, I'll be alone on the beach. And that will be exactly the time I need for myself. Not necessarily queuing 3 hours back to go to the workplace that it used to be. So I don't think they're coming back. I think they want their own space, maybe away from home, but not necessarily the workplace. That's what I believe. That's and we'll see, of course, the story will tell. I'm not God, I'm just another guy, but I can see the tendency of what's happening, and I can see a lot of people have quit their job, especially millennia, in Canada, in America, the last week, the last 2 weeks, a lot. There's more people quitting today when it's super difficult to find a job than before when it was easy to find a job. The employment of Canada is now 12% from 4% before the pandemic, and people are quitting their job more now than before. And it's only because when I ask this, why they're quitting the job now, it's because they can see the leadership has no clue where they're going, and they don't want to be the last in Titanic to sink. So they're leaving the ship now before it goes down the bottom of the ocean. Unless you can show me that you have a plan to we float the Titanic and I stay, you know, and that's why they're quitting, because their personal life is also more important. Also, to everyone I talk to, when I ask what do you want to do as a work, they all answer, I want to travel. That's not my question. My question is like, what do you want to do? Do you want to be an engineer? Do you want to think? And they all answer, I want to travel. That was not my question, but that's what the answer I've got. So they're going to do and we're talking about probably 80% of other people I talk to, they want to travel first. That's the first thing they do. I order something on Alibaba in China. I have to chat with this person on thing. And she, after chatting for 5 minutes, she said, I want to travel and quit my job. That Chinese lady I never met that was supposed to send my part. And she sent my part, but also told me in this 5 minutes that she wants to quit a job and travel around the world. That's the reality of today. So at one point, working from home, traveling around the world, new leadership is needed. We have a lot of work to do, but we're not going to fall off the planet. We're still here. They will be shuffled like a card. And there will be winners and losers, as always. But the winner will be those who understand the change and embrace the change. Because by embracing the change, you will surf on the surface. Think as a company, why not let them work? It's a trust, right? If you hire me to work, I hope you trust me on my knowledge. Because if you don't trust me, then don't hire me. That's what Steve Jobs says, you know? Steve Jobs in Apple, before he died, it's like, if you hire a best engineer and used to micromanage him, then do it yourself. Don't hire him, because let him do his job. So that's something is missing in the workplace, and I hope we will see more tendency. But if you trust me, then trust me, I do my job, and let me be at the beach.
Sonu can add on that, and Richa also can add, or Ivano can add, or Ruina can add.
So, Mr. Patrick, that was really insightful. That yes, it's not important to work from home, you can work from the beach itself. And to answer your question, Bhavika, I have been doing in the past 6 months a lot of workshops on work-life balance. And the first line that I say to each one of my participants is, there's nothing called work and life. Now, work and life are all within you. It's the same pie. How much share you give each day to one of the pie will make your life more balanced. You know, so there would be days when you would be giving 80% of the pie to the work and 20% to the life that you have. And there would be days when you would be giving 70% of your pie to the life and only 30% to the work. Okay, so that is the thing. So first, get out of that mindset that there's something called work and life. And second thing that I would like to say is, when you are in this kind of situation where your house has become your everything, you sleep here, you eat here, you work here, you interact here, you talk here, you do everything here. So you have to demarcate your house now. Now your house has to be demarcated like, this is the region of my work, this is the region of my life, this is the region of my family life, this is the region of my kids' life. Talking about millennials like you, I mean, I have been interacting with so many, and I have so many friends whose juniors are there, and my juniors, they don't work for surviving. They don't work for, supporting family. They just work for myself. They will do that. If their time says that, no, now I want to just quit everything and I want to just go travel the world and be free, they will do that, right? So companies are changing. Amazon is giving people a work from home option since till 2021. Google has already given people that option that you create an office at home, don't come to office, just work from wherever you want to work. Okay, so the thing is that there's nothing called work-life balance, first thing, and machines and humans. Any day, humans are making the machines are not making the humans. So of course, human will always have that power over machines to control them. The start and the stop button is still in your hands. So don't let that machine to overpower you. You still have the brain for it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bhavika, you have any question, or we can pass it to Pawan? Pushpa.
Do you have any question?
Sir, yeah, I want to. Good. Thank you to all the panelists. It was indeed a great, inspiring, and powerful transformational journey that you guys shared. So my question here is, we've heard a lot today about freelancing job, gig economy. So I just want to understand that with the lack of social setup of any office, how do you think that mutualness or oneness that an individual have for an organization is going to shape up in the coming future?
Wants to answer? Richa wants to answer this?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a very good question, Pushpa. I think the answer is that it's the mission and the purpose and the personal drive that will be the new organization. So it's no more a brand or no more, and as we are moving towards an economy of more individualized performances, like it used to be in the times of Renaissance, for that matter, you know, you have to see, you would not have to tell Da Vinci to go and invent. You would not have to tell, all the Renaissance leaders like Picasso and everyone to just put their best foot out there. They would do it out of passion. They would do it because they believe in that. They would do it because they would not be able to sit and just wonder, how to connect. So connection with others will happen because of the unity of purpose. It will happen because of the unity of passion that brings people together to put something together, a project or a cause or a platform, or like this, for example, we guys did not even know each other. All of a sudden, I know every one of you so well. It's just a matter of time. And you know what? The truth is that after COVID, because COVID is not going to stay forever, nothing stays forever. No pandemic has ever stayed forever. So once COVID is over, the fact that we've been aloof for so long is going to bring us back as human beings so strongly that I think those bonds that will be made after this whole mess is over, I think those bonds will carry us forth much forward. So I think we need to look beyond COVID and we need to really start thinking of the ways we're going to really formulate this team building and to make sure that the excitement and the enthusiasm that is going to come after COVID, how are we going to, really streamline, and how are we going to be really selective about which directions we are all going to get, pulled in, because everybody would want to make teams with everyone. Everyone would want to be with everyone. So how are we going to prioritize, and what kind of teams, what kind of purpose and missions that bind us together, bring us together? What is our core? I think that's what I would like to say about this whole subject.
I think Neetu and Ruina can add something flavor to reach us. Connect Neetu and Ruina also.
So I'd just like to add a few lines to it. I'm sure everybody has covered everything. So for me, transformation is a life. It's a sign of life. So until and unless, whether we talk about personal level or professional level, organizational level, until and unless we don't inject transformation, sense of transformation, it has to be intentionally injected. It will not happen. It's not something inevitable. However, internally, like if I talk about as an individual or on the organization, from the organization point of view, internally as well as externally, we have volatile dynamics. We have to respond to these changes. It is something that is automatic, that there is a pull or a push factor which either pull or pushes you to bring about certain changes. So from that perspective, I just like to highlight that overall, in terms of transformation, and it has to be injected, it has to be pushed, it has to be it has to be enforced upon. You have to build a culture, like on a personal level, as everybody has said, it has to be values, it has to be purpose, it has to be belief system. Similarly, it applies on the organization. So I think the first question was about transformation leaders, a team. Yes, there has to be a leader, or there has to be a team that infuses that sense of transformation. Had that sense of transformation would have been there prior to COVID, I think most of the organizations would have felt, or felt better. As I remember, there's a video that was viral, Bill Gates video, where he was mentioning about that there will be a pandemic down the line, years ahead, so we need to be prepared. So similarly, at this point, we need to prepare for the future. So that is what my bit would be that transformation is a sign of life. If you want to grow, develop, you have to bring change within yourself and in your system.
Neetu, I think Neetu can add something here.
So one real life transformation, which probably has been there for everybody, all of us. 2 generations back, if you remember, most of our families used to be joint families, people staying in the same house, 25 people, 30 people. And when the people started migrating to different cities and looking for work, the same transformation happened. And today we are all mostly living in nuclear families, and we are still able to manage. We have built systems around us to be able to support us to be able to do that. So similarly, we are also going in the post-COVID area, we are going to find out and carve our way out. So don't worry, take each challenge one at a time and find solutions. You will be successful. Don't worry about it.
I think your last question, Pawan. Pawan, that's for you. I know you were waiting for a long time. Pawan.
Okay. Hello, everybody. It was a privilege for to be a part of this big session, and it is a great learning session for me. And my question is that in today's scenario, that organizations are looking for high productivity with less manpower. Now, my question will be this: how we can change the mindset of the team and to bring this high productivity and to save to keep them motivated.
Answer that, Sonu. Sonu is the right person.
Yeah. Sonu or maybe need to ma'am.
Ma'am, Sonu, ma'am, Richa, anyone. All ma'ams. All the ma'ams, only not sirs. Only ma'ams.
Okay, so thank you, Mr. Pawan, for this question. And yes, today the need of the hour is more productivity and less people. Because the organization also wants to survive. They want to cut down on operation costs. They want to cut down on a lot many things, but yet get the profit. And this is creating a lot of pressure on the individual who is actually trying to thrive. So to change the mindset of the people that you have to deliver more in less resource is one thing which is really critical right now. And to do that, you have to acknowledge equally. That is the one thing which the person looks forward to. That if the person is actually giving his 200%, wherein earlier with that man force, when he had manpower and he had support, he was giving might be only 50-80% and he was achieving it. But right now he has to give 200%. And when a person gives 200%, he expects that his leader or his organization should at least give him a credit and an acknowledgement. So that is one thing that would drive the person. Okay, that would drive the person internally to do and give to people. That is one thing. Secondly, now a person not only has to work from home, but he has to also work for home. So as an organization, you should also take that into consideration and give them a bit of leverage. Wherein when he is not available or when he is not able to perform, he is not thrashed, but he is supported. So that is one more thing that a person looks forward to. It's been 9 months that I'll tell my husband is into banking sector and finance sector, right? Never ever in the history of finance, it had been thought about that finance can work from home. For that, everyone has to go to office, but then he's doing it. He's giving his 100-200%. We each individual, like all your sales force, nobody would have thought that sales could happen without going in the field also. Okay, the entire pharma industry, the sales field was at home. Still, you were able to achieve targets. Why? Because of the drive that it comes from top. The drive has to come from top. The acknowledgement has to come from top. The passion to work has to come from top. It has to come from top down bottom. Because jo niche hai, the people who are below the level of the pyramid, their only motive is to suffice the thing and just get the things done. So वो आप 70% interest करके दे, 20% interest करके दे या 200% डाले, that would be all dependent on the top management. So the management has to give that credit and acknowledgement to each individual who is putting in that effort. That is my thing. Change of mindset will happen when the person sees that he has been acknowledged, when he is seen that he is been seen in the eyes of people. So once that comes in, and as humans, it's our natural feeling that when we are credited for something, we become responsible. We become responsible of delivering more. So that would be my take. So you have to go in that matter. And of course, changing belief system is not easy, but that's not difficult at all. if you can show that you have changed as a leader, your followers will also change according to you. That's my take.
Anybody wants to add?
Thank you, Sonu.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you, Sonu.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would like to add to what Sonu just said. For me, I think changing mindset in an organization will require having all the people on the same platform, having a common vision, and that has to come from the top for sure. Also, a transparent communication on the purpose of it, right? Why are we wanting to do anything in the organization as such, as a group? That builds trust. Wherever there is a transparent communication with the employees, that builds trust, and that is how you can build a sense of ownership in each employees, and also clarifying on what is in it for me. Why should I change myself? Why should I change my mindset? All right. So alignment of an individual's purpose to the whole organization's purpose, I think that will really help in such a thing. That's from my side. And also showing them the other side of the table. So let's say an employee has always a perspective from his side, and he is just able to see his own narrow space, right? So as management, if we can just show them the perspective from an organization side, they will start appreciating it. Yeah.
Thank you, Deepika.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, exactly what Sonu and Deepshika said. I'll just add one more point, that the feeling of insecurity also needs to be taken care of, because the person is not able to get in touch with you, is not in the organization. So you will need to give them extra assurance, and definitely transparency is going to help them, but make sure that insecurity that has a negative impact on the productivity. So please make sure of that.
All right, I think, yeah, Richa can add one more. Yep.
Yeah, I asked if Ivana wanted to add something. She wanted to say something. Ivana, if you want to just add a quick thing.
Yeah, actually, everyone subject of the engagement and the proactivity at work or productivity. I just want to add that now it's the time when many companies, they see that many roles were widely spread, or their KPIs were not correctly implemented within the roles. So whatever the person was doing and it changed, it has to be re-evaluated on the basis of what is the need now for the role. It doesn't particularly say that the role has to be replaced, or that one person will be replacing two others, and it has to give 200%. It's more on re-evaluating the need of that particular tasks that the role was delivering. And saying that, it doesn't particularly say or has to mean that the person will be replaced or will not be needed. So basically, a lot of people now putting a lot of pressure on themselves, because the market, as we all know, it's difficult. And I think that everyone mentioned already the sensitivity of the culture that needs to be kept at the most important level, because keeping up with people that are not in the office, it's very difficult already, and keeping them interested in their roles or the task they are asked to perform is also another thing. So I think what we are now seeing, it's something that a lot of companies were missing before, when they could afford having, for example, 5 accountants for one particular account. or one particular client. So this is where I'm trying to say that that our roles can actually be modified or can be changed or moved to a different level. We, as a HR department, I would just briefly say now. It's the time for the HR to step into a different role, more on the strategic, but more on the support. So we are not only operational people. We are there to support, to counsel, to coach our teams, our colleagues, and help them to thrive in what they are doing. So everyone should be able to find their role and the meaningful, I think, feelings of their jobs, that it's actually meaningful. It actually delivers something to the world or to the company or to themselves. So this is where I'm gonna try to quickly say that a lot of companies should focus, whoever facing that such problems, they should face on their people and individual people, not only as a group. But individuality is the sense of the company, because it creates the company. We are all different, and we all have a tremendous amount of knowledge that we can actually give it to others. So that's why I don't believe in redundancies. I don't believe in removing roles. I'm believing in modifying, in changing, because everyone has part to play in the company, in the organization. Thank you so much.
Richa wants to add something?
Yeah, I just want to line. I just want to give a thought out there. I may be wrong about this. It could be very controversial also. But let me just put the thought out there. So why not look at the employees as vendors, or look at them as consultants? Look at them as individuals. Don't look at them as people we have invested or we have onboarded, or they are at our high. Never before in the history of the current economy, current economical framework, we've ever seen so many corporate employees be doing live webinars and be out there. They're all hidden under the blanket of that one logo that we see, which is carrying them. But now we are seeing them come out. LinkedIn is the most active place right now. And trust me, whether we like it or not, the truth is we don't know when the employee is going to turn into an independent consultant and just walk away if your organization is not providing enough reason for him or her to stay. And there's enough demand for all kinds of people. So I think we need to start looking at employees as consultants, or as people with their career goals, or as vendors, or as absolutely independent human beings who can choose to walk away tomorrow if they like.
Absolutely.
I think I totally agree with what Richa said, and Ivana said, and Sulu said, Neetu said. Because I think we should appreciate our employees, because they were our asset. COVID came now, but before COVID, they gave us a lot. The bread and butter, what I'm here today, is of my employee. So we should be always employee friendly, not employer. Employer is there, but always employee. If employee is there, employer is there. So we should always balance. And I think very good panelists today we are, and I'm very happy to say that again, one, thanks to you all. And again, special thanks to my IIM student, beautiful Bhavika, Pushpa, then I got Karthik, I got Arjun, I got Kedar, and among them, Arindam Das, who was a lead making this script available, making this aroma of this movies and videos and all. I think all the IIM students, God bless you. You people are really wonderful. You are the career path for our country, and you are the future of our country and global across. God bless you all. And I think Kruti is going to close it.
Thank you so much. I think the whole session has turned out to be, has transformed into a garland, which has such beautiful beads given by all of you. Thank you so much for that. Whether it is gig economy, whether it is trust taxes, whether it is journey from solopreneurship to entrepreneurship, whether it is co-creating value for each other, or whether it is emerging out of crisis. every single topic was so close to our heart and we really enjoyed it. Thanks for making it so engaging.
I want to add one more thing, I think you all get very patient from morning 11 o'clock till 2:30. No lunch, no breakfast. I'm really happy, I'm telling you, this is not for Johnson. This is for all the students across the country. All the young generations, all are listening to us. Because they believe us, we are a motivator, we are a coach, we are a mentor, we are a buddy to them. So I think this is like a jam to them, this is like a blessing from us to them. So I think, thank you very much again. And one more thing, Richa has done a very good today. I think tomorrow it's a launch on that documentary movie. I think, Richa, the movie name, I don't know, documentary movie. Yes, and I have booked the ticket. I have booked the ticket for 30,000 rupees. Today I'm translating it, so it's going to be a really wonderful. I'm going to give a ticket to all orphanage children. So I think very nice, Richa. You're doing a fantastic job. Keep going. Nitu, thank you. Ruina, very good. Sonu, awesome. Dipsika, you're really wonderful. I don't know all the panelists. We had Aparna again, we had Ivana, we got Patrick coming in, we got Lisa, Concetta left us, Ashifi, Arifi, and Asadi also. Thank you very much once again on behalf of IRM Group and Calida Pharmaceutical.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.